Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Wisconsin.
The homestand concludes tonight. Miller Park, Milwaukee on a beautiful night for baseball. It's the Minnesota Twins and the Milwaukee Brewers, the second and final game of this series, and the Brewers wrap up this 8-game homestand. They have a chance at their 6th win. Jean Segura, he's been red hot since he's been in that leadoff spot. 10 RBIs since May 1st, and a lot of that coming as a leadoff hitter. He's back in there once again tonight. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. We'll hear from Sophia Minnaert in a little bit as well. Now, the Brewers are starting to get off early in games, and that's been a key for them offensively since this lineup change, Rock. First innings have been very much a success for Milwaukee recently.
Yeah, the manager doesn't get a whole lot of credit when things are going well, but Ron Renege's shifting the lineup, Segura and Braun to the top. Since that combination has been going, they've been hitting .360. Now look at what Jean Segura has done in the first inning in that stretch, a .545 batting average, and he scored 6 runs in the first inning. These guys have been getting off to good starts, and nothing more demoralizing for an opponent, particularly when you're playing at home, to get out to a big lead. The first game of that Cubs series, the Brewers erupted for 5 runs and just continued to add on to the assault. So the lineup change has been a big success for Ron Reneke.
And Segura, this will be his 12th consecutive game as the leadoff hitter in first inning. Segura is 6 for 11. That is the best mark in the National League, and in the big leagues, as a matter of fact, has 6 runs scored, as he is 6 for 11 in those first innings since May 22nd. We're talking pitching when we come back. Starting pitching, as a matter of fact. They've been very good lately. Craig and Augie have the story right after this.
It's game 2 of their interleague series, 4 in all. Brewers trying to win their second in a row against the Twins. Samuel Deduno will be on the hill for Minnesota tonight, and Giovanni Gallardo for the Brewers. Retro uniforms for both teams here this evening. Well, the homestand off to a terrific start. Brewers trying to close it out with their 6th win here on their 8th game of the homestand. The starters have done a tremendous job. Everybody right now except Peralta has recorded a win. The last 2 have pitched shutouts during their 2 times out.
Yeah, you have to really like what the starting staff has done. You know, you talk about playing complete baseball. It all begins with your starting pitching. And I'll tell you what, they've been doing very good. 58 games played, 40 quality starts, second in all of Major League Baseball. But it all starts with commanding the strike zone, getting ahead of hitters, limiting the free passes by walks, and I'll tell you what, pitching to contact. That's one thing this ball club has been doing, one thing the starting pitching staff has been doing, and it's a big part of their success.
How about on 0 days rest, picking up a couple of wins, one with the bat, and then he dominated Orioles on the mound, picking up that win last week.
I'll tell you, nothing better than come up with a game-winning base hit and be able to pitch the next day. Yo was in command, commanding the strike zone. He's been very good all year. He wants to do the same tonight.
All right, the border battle round 2 of 4 days in a row continue. They'll pack their bags after tonight and go to Minnesota. Brewers trying to take a win on the road.
Sports Wisconsin is presented by Marshfield Clinic. Just a gorgeous night for baseball. Not a cloud up there. Clear skies. Going to be a beautiful evening here. 74 degrees our game time temperature as we get ready for the final game of this series and the final game of this homestand. The Brewers are going to continue with the Minnesota Twins tomorrow at Target Field. Ron Gardenhire, year 13 as the skipper of the Minnesota Twins. They come in here at 26-29. They're 6 games back in their division, sitting in last place. Here's his lineup today. It's brought to you by Associated Bank. He's got Danny Santana, the speedy center fielder, leading off. Brian Dozier hits number 2, and then Joe Mauer is in the 3-hole. Middle of the order is Josh Willingham, Oswaldo Arcia, and Trevor Plouffe in the middle of Gardenhire's batting order, with Josmiel Pinto, Eduardo Escobar, and Samuel Deduno rounding it out. And that's the batting order that will face Giovanni Gallardo.
Yeah, and Yo picked up his first win his last time out. First win since April 6th at Boston. Remember, he sprained his ankle in a game earlier in Atlanta. Had 8 days between starts. Picked up a win against the Baltimore Orioles. Gave up 3 runs in 6 2/3 innings. And Yovani Gallardo getting a start, making his 7th career start against the Twins. Let's check out the Brewers as they line up defensively. Martin Maldonado behind home plate. Jonathan Lucroy getting a rare day off. It's been 20 consecutive games for Lucroy. Davis, Gomez, and Braun. Reynolds, Segura, Jeanette, and Overbay from third to first. There's your Brewers defense. They've been playing well.
Umpires in place. Mark Wagner will call the balls and strikes. He is the crew chief as well. Andy Fletcher, Chris Segal, and Mike McClinsky on the bases. And we are ready to play ball at Miller Park. Lead man is Danny Santana, switch hitting center fielder. And the first pitch from Gallardo is up and away we go from Milwaukee, and not going to be around here much in the month of June. Take it in while you can. Brewers are about to embark on a very long road trip that will have 3 home games separating 2 long trips, so 16 out of 19 days, 15 of the next 18 games away from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Twins decked out in their powder blues here tonight. Brewers in their retro 1980s uniforms. They're going to do the same tomorrow again as well. Got a promotion at Target Field, I understand. That's a good old school look.
Brewers had the powder blues back in the day. That's when you had that Brewer Twins. Those series were heated rivalries. 2 pretty good teams. Twins had the likes of Herbeck and Gaetti, Frankie Viola, guys like that on the mound, and there's some good games. Locked horns quite a bit.
Now back when the Brewers were in the American League. Moved to the National League in '98, and then this became an interleague series. And that border battle, the regional rivalries. Baseball originally had interleague weeks where you had exclusively interleague games before divisions changed. Now they're spread out throughout the season. Santana goes to left, easy enough for Chris Davis, and that's how the night begins for Yovani Gallardo.
Yeah, 105 pitches for Yovani in 6 2/3 innings. He pitched pretty well, although command was an issue for him. He walked 5, struck out 5, gave up a couple of homers in an 8-3 victory over the Baltimore Orioles back on May 28th.
Here's Brian Dozier batting second tonight. He led off last night. Gardenhire trying to juggle his lineup a little bit. He's got Mauer back in the 3 spot in the order today. Dozier's been one of their best players. He's been their best power hitter, has 11 home runs. Yesterday the Brewers winning 6-2. Twins scored a single run in each of the last 2 innings. Twins actually out hit the Brewers 12-9, but only scored 2 runs out of those 12 hits. Minnesota left 9 on yesterday, and it was a Matt Garza victory. Garza improving to 3-4. He went 6 1/3. No runs yesterday for Garza. His bullpen picked him up. Will Smith was terrific once again.
It is a very patient offense, this Minnesota Twins. These hitters very rarely, if ever, swing out of the strike zone. That's why Garza got bit by the pitch count in yesterday's game. Yovani's got to be cautious of that. Ron Gardenhire has seen his team struggle with runners in scoring position, including last night, only 2 for 10.
Well, the victory for the Brewers improved their record to 35-23 as Dozier rips one back up the middle, a base hit. So a 1-out single and a man aboard for Joe Mauer. Dozier is playing at an all-star caliber this year. All-star game at Target Field in Minneapolis. He could be the representative there. Of course, Joe Mauer is the big name in this lineup, in a lineup that does not have many recognizable names these days as they transition their organization. And Mauer not the same hitter that he once was. Although Mauer had 3 hits last night, he had a strikeout in the biggest of moments when Garza was on the ropes. Punched out Mauer. protecting a 2-0 lead at the time. Snap throw to first and out. Dozier is out at first. Maldonado goes behind the runner.
And Ron Gardenhire for sure is going to come out and see if that one's going to be a possible review. Well, a snap throw by Martin Maldonado on a short hop. And Dozier getting that secondary lead, getting off the bag, and let's check it out. Ball beats him. Well, is he out? Well, he certainly does look like it. Pretty close. I'm not sure if they have an angle other than that one to determine whether the tag was made. Gardenhire waiting to have his video crew. You get 20 seconds.
Now, and equipped in both clubhouses. 12 different camera angles to look at if you need it. And obviously, whatever the Twins saw, not enough they feel to overturn that call. So Gardenhire will protect his challenge and head back to the dugout. And the Brewers get out number 2 on a pickoff by Maldonado.
Yeah, you better be careful when you're taking secondary leads on Maldonado. He will pick you off. He likes to throw to the bases.
Putout goes 2-3. So Mauer is up there with nobody on. 2 outs in the inning. And a base running blunder by Brian Dozier. Mauer has good numbers against Gallardo throughout his career. 5 for 10 lifetime. Comes in batting .275 after his 3-hit game yesterday. Production is down though, just 2 home runs, 13, make it 15 runs batted in for Joe Mauer. And Gallardo walks him. So a 2-out walk. Base runner at first for Josh Willingham.
Now I said it was 20 seconds. Obviously it's 30 seconds that a manager gets between the time he gets there and the decision has to be made whether he wants to challenge a call or not. Apparently Gardenhire didn't see enough to overturn.
And every ball club has a team of personnel in the clubhouses checking video. The Brewers have John Shelby manning that station, and then there's always a couple of others that are in there checking the video. Home and road, so they can cue it up quickly. But it is John Shelby who, for the Brewers, communicates with Jerry Narron when there's a challenge. And we're starting to settle into replay review now. I think the system is working well. They've already made one significant change as far as outfield play goes, or at least ball and glove, and how you transfer from glove to throwing hand. That took about a month to correct, and it is a work in progress. But I think the system, for the most part, is working, and they're getting the blatant missed calls correct. Be able to overturn those. Seeing a lot fewer arguments,
unfortunately,
which you're a fan of. You want to see some shouting going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was all part of the game, right? What would Earl Weaver have done if they had review back then?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Earl Weaver, Billy Martin, Leo DeRocher, those guys. Lou Piniella, how about Lou? He could dust it up.
It's a much kinder, gentler communication between umpires and major league managers. I love the scene. We just had one over at first base where the manager just stands there, has a little chat, waiting on his video crew. I think maybe moving forward, I don't know where baseball is going with it. I think the manager could probably be allowed to stand near his dugout. And maybe take a step out, call time. There's a called strike 3. Gallardo drops a hammer on him. Willingham standing and watching, and down he goes. The inning is over. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Statue of Bud Selig outside Miller Park, the commissioner. And there's Gene Segura ready to lead off. Segura, Jeanette, Braun, then Gomez, Davis, and Reynolds, followed by Overbay, Maldonado, and Gallardo, the Associated Bank. Ron Renicky batting order. Samuel Deduno is on the mound for the Twins tonight. His first offering is in there for a strike. Twins failed to score in the first. And now the Brewers coming up against Deduno, who makes his 6th start of the year. He's in there for Mike Pelfrey, who's out with an injury.
Yeah, first 7 appearances came out of the bullpen. Making his 2nd career start against the Brewers. He got a win last year at Target Field. And pitched well, 1 earned run in 7 innings.
Segura back up the middle, and that's going to squeeze through a base hit. Gene Segura. He showed you his numbers in the first innings of games since he was placed in that leadoff spot. This is the 12th game where he's hit leadoff, and he has 7 hits in those 12 games.
Yeah, hitting about .550 in the first inning. So what a way to start your offensive day. Well, the Segura Braun experiment has been a raging success. And Segura on Phantom Cam able to get on top of that pitch and bounce it into center field.
Got jammed, but able to muscle it through for a base hit. If you're just picking us up, you missed our open tonight. We're talking about the Brewers and their ability to score runs in the first inning during this stretch. They're averaging 1.7 runs per first inning after this lineup change going back to May 22nd. That is a significant number to start a game.
No kidding. That means you're not playing from behind too much. When you have really good pitching, the defense has been very good, and you're getting on top early, that's a good recipe for success.
Scooter Gennett bats second tonight, and he rolls one through a base hit. And Segura is on his way to third. The throw coming in. It's cut off. And right away, the Brewers put him at the corners with nobody out.
Now, Deduno, not a guy that's going to throw awfully hard, but he does have good movement on his fastball. Not quite yet. First 2 hitters. Both of them finding the holes. This one into right field. And with Arcia playing deep out in right field, Gene Segura able to get into third base easily.
So even with Gennett hitting second, the offense starting to churn a little in the first inning. Lucroy gets the day off today, so Braun moves back into his customary 3 spot in the order. And Braun bats with runners at the corners and nobody out here in the first inning. He's been on a good run lately. Braun hitting .318 overall, has 9 home runs and 28 driven in. He's hit 2 first inning home runs on this homestand. Overall, he's hitting .370 on the homestand. 10 hits and 27 at bats. This is game number 8, and he has 8 runs batted in the previous 7.
And most of his base hits have come to the right field side of second base. I mean, he's hitting the ball all over the ballpark, hitting it where it's pitched. They're trying to pitch inside, but they haven't been real successful in there. Like that. Missing inside. They haven't been able to find that inside corner.
The numbers for Braun on the homestand. Still not enough plate appearances to qualify among the league leaders in the National League. He'll get there eventually as long as he stays in the lineup. And Braun to the right side, got a chance to turn a double play here. It goes 4-6, but not in time. Braun beats it out. That buys him an RBI, and it puts the Brewers on the board 1-0.
Well, a hustle RBI. You can see what Braun was doing with his hands right there, talking about the movement on the pitches from Diduno. He's tough. He doesn't throw hard. Johnny Nairn says he throws predominantly cutters. He'll four-seam one once in a while, but cutters and curveballs predominantly from the Minnesota starter tonight, and he will throw an occasional changeup. He's got a good curveball. We haven't seen one yet.
One man out. Braun over at first now. Here is Gomez. And he waves and misses at the first offering. Brewers feel like they can run a little bit on the combination of Diduno and tonight's catcher, Josmil Pinto. And we'll see how active the Brewers will be on the base pads tonight. Pinto is the personal catcher of Diduno since he's been in the rotation. Gomez into center field. Sounded good, but won't quite have the distance as Santana makes the catch. Braun will hold his ground at first base.
Yeah, let's check out the Minnesota Twins as they line up defensively, brought to you by Menards. Yeah, not too many changes from last night. Just behind home plate, you got Pinto back there. 2 errors last night, his first career 2-error game. Talking about Trevor Plouffe, 2 errors in the same inning and cost his team a run. Ordinarily, the Twins pretty good defensively.
A team described as a defensive group who makes plays that on balls they get to. Not a whole lot of range, as you mentioned last night. And they've got a couple of guys out of position right now. Specifically, the guy to keep an eye on is their center fielder, Danny Santana, who is a shortstop by trade and is being pressed into duty in center field here recently. Had a costly misthrow yesterday. Didn't go down as an error, but it set up another run for the Brewers.
Man, that's a guy that they are touting as their shortstop of the future, and you got to wonder how much that's going to affect his development as a major leaguer in general. Playing out of position, how much that's going to affect his confidence. That's something Ron Gardenhire has bought into, to have him out there to keep his bat in the lineup.
Chris Davis, a little cue shot foul. Speaking of big homestands, Chris Davis having his best homestand of the season. In 7 games, Davis is hitting .462 to raise his overall batting average to .258. He has 3 home runs among his 12 hits on the homestand. He homered in all 3, or in 3 consecutive games earlier on the homestand.
And he's another guy that's shooting the ball into the gap in right center, up the middle, right field. And the numbers bear it out. You can't have numbers like that trying to pull everything. He has not been doing that like he was early in the year.
Had a 9-game hitting streak snapped 2 nights ago against the Cubs, but started it over again last night. Braun takes off and Davis fouls it away. 2-2 the count on Davis. Samuel Diduno took over for Pelfrey, who went on the disabled list with a groin injury, but now has some nerve damage in his elbow, and they're concerned that it might be season ending. Twins are waiting on a second opinion on that. Diduno, 30 years of age. He's from La Romana in the Dominican Republic. Career numbers not bad. Career ERA slightly over 4. And a game under 500. Full count, 2 outs. Braun takes off, and Davis in the air to left field. Backing up on it is Willingham, and he's got it for the out. 2 long fly ball outs. The Brewers score, however. They get one on the board as Braun, with an RBI on a ground out, hustled his way to a ribby. 1-0 Crew.
Presented by Marshfield Clinic here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The Brewers with a 1-0 lead over the Twins, and tonight is the grand finale of the BCF Ultimate Auction and the end of BCF Week, joined now by BCF Executive Director Cecilia Gore. And Cecilia, there are 15 incredible items up for the auction online. What are some of the highlights of those items?
Well, the highlights of Brewers Community Foundation Week would be to raise money so that we can support nonprofits that focus on health, education, recreation, and basic needs. We've got some wonderful packages, sitting in Mark Attanazio's seats, a photograph session with Carlos Gomez, pitching clinic, hitting clinic, spring training trip, lots of exciting, unique packages.
Thanks, Cecilia. And of course, we would be remiss not to mention a shameless plug for Grab Grub with Brian and Bill. Now, guys, that one is currently at $11.50. So I think it's time for you to up the ante, maybe sweeten the pot a little bit.
I don't know. It's a little early in the game to be doing that. I'm assuming that Cecilia left us out to make sure that you could mention it, Sophia. She wouldn't just delete us from her rundown, would she?
No, of course not. That was going to be the next item that she mentioned.
Okay,
was
just
Grab
checking.
Grub with you guys, and of course, you know, a behind-the-scenes experience with our Fox Sports Wisconsin crew as well.
Yeah, nobody wants to see them.
Is that $11.50?
Better not be.
$11.50?
Well, I feel like, Sophia, we're going to be thinking about this the rest of the night, and we will make sure we'll sweeten the pot. You'll be involved, though, I promise.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. I'd love to be involved. I'd love to have dinner with you guys. It's a treat. Every fan would enjoy it.
We're going to work on something here. We got 8 innings to go. It's a great cause. We raise a lot of money. Cecilia does a terrific job, the Brewers Community Foundation, and a lot of cool things out there. But we always want to make sure that dinner with us is the most important thing, at least for job security moving forward, because our bosses look at this and they go, wow, these guys, they always get the highest bid.
You got any ideas to sweeten the pot?
Well, they kind of stole our idea last time, so I don't understand how the behind the scenes tour is doubled up on us right now. There's got to be an inside job on that one. Full count to Arcia, and he pops it a mile high. Segura's back. Gomez barking it out. Says he's got it. And he does.
Yeah, we can add Matt LePay into that. I can't speak for Matt, but I know that if he knew that he was needed and folks wanted to have dinner with him, you know, the Badgers guy talking about Badger football, Brewer baseball, we can add him. I think he'd do it.
Okay, he's in.
So I'll make sure that Matt LePay's involved.
That's going to rally up the University of Wisconsin sector. Badger pride. Let's hear from you tonight. We'll be doing this throughout the game and trying to give you updates on the tote board. See if we can think of anything else. Here's Trevor Plouffe. Tough night defensively last night, but he has been Minnesota's best run producer this year. 34 runs batted in. We had a nice sit down last year with Plouffe, or maybe that was 2 years ago. Can't remember. But he and Ryan Braun are friends, and they work out together in the off season in Southern California, and we had them both on talking about training techniques and some of the things they do to get ready for a Major League Baseball season.
Yeah, Plouffe now just starting to come into his own, starting to put together a pretty good season.
He's got some pop. You wouldn't know it by the home run numbers at this point. He's hit only 5. Big ballpark they play in a Target Field, but he has been productive at the plate.
Well, the weather hasn't been the best back in Minnesota early on in the season. Makes it tough to hit homers.
Goes to the opposite field here. Ryan Braun able to cut it off, and that's going to hold Plouffe to a single. It just slashes one to right, and a base hit for Plouffe.
And knock your 2014 group outing out of the ballpark with group tickets starting at just $9. Miller Park is the perfect destination for your next group event, whatever your group's size and budget. Call 414-902-4777 or visit brewers.com/groups today. There was a group of folks from the Sargento Cheese Company. I actually went up to the terrace level and had a talk with them up there today at about 3 o'clock. About 40 of them talking about a group event.
We should let him know, though, that none of the cheese they gave away to Rock has made it to the booth. Must have went straight to your truck.
I didn't get any cheese. I just went out, spoke to them, answered some questions, and I didn't even take any of their food up there.
Oh, I see. That's your side of the story,
Right.
I guess. A little half swing. That ball gets away from Maldonado. It is a strike. Plouffe, big turn at second. It'll be a wild pitch.
This is something you don't see very much of. Wild pitches by the Brewers. That's because of the techniques of Maldonado and Jonathan Lucroy. They've been very good at keeping runners at the bases. Block those pitches. You keep the double play alive and keep a man out of scoring position. Ordinarily, Maldonado does a good job of that.
Yeah, you can see that one's bugging him a little bit. Prides himself on his defense as the backup catcher. So Gallardo with a runner in scoring position behind him now. Yosmiel Pinto, the batter, and he takes strike 2. Another curveball in there for a strike.
He's got a good one so far tonight.
Gallardo with a strikeout in the first inning. Got Willingham on a curve. And a fastball low. Maldonado, a snap throw. Plouffe thought he was dead to rights. Jeanette's throw is late. Man, they had him.
He was dead to rights.
Plouffe had given up on trying to get back to the bag. Jeanette couldn't handle the ball, though. And he ends up at third base.
Yeah, throw a little bit off by Maldonado. Check it out. Look where Jeanette is playing. The ball sails. Put so much on it. It handcuffed Jeanette at second base, and that should have been an out. Plouffe doing a heads-up job. Realized he was in trouble and takes off to third base. Gets there easily.
Right now they scored as an E2. Looked like a catchable ball for Jeanette. He just misjudged the velocity on the ball. And there's a line drive base hit. In to score is Plouffe. That one hurts a little bit. So Plouffe is in. Fortunate. And we're all tied at 1. RBI single by Pinto.
That's a tough area to hang on Maldonado. That wasn't that bad a throw. Scooter, as you mentioned, he got handcuffed on it. The throw wasn't perfect. It's certainly a throw that most second base are going to be able to handle, including Jeanette.
Well, the wild pitch and the misplay out at second allows Plouffe in to score on the base hit. Here's Eduardo Escobar, switch hitting Twin shortstop. Escobar hitting .315 this season. He has swung the bat well when he's gotten his chance. Escobar yesterday was 1 for 4. Brewers with a run in the bottom of the first. Twins tie it here in the second. Got the pitcher coming up next, Deduno. And Escobar saw it off. Reynolds to second for 1. Jeanette the turn, and it's not in time.
He can run, can he? Yeah, he can move. Brewers did everything they could, but Escobar just gets down that line too quickly. The switch hitter, batting left-handed. Doesn't have as far to go, and looks like he did beat it at first base. Ron Renneke wants to have a look at it. Yep, he's safe.
And a good look from our center field camera, Exmo, and Renneke says, "Good call, nice going, Andy." See you in a little bit.
What'd you have for lunch today?
See, that's what I'm saying. You know, I think at some point a manager should be able to just step out of the dugout, indicate that he wants the challenge, and then either he could take the phone call from the booth, or I don't know about the exercise of the manager running out there. Not sure about that. We'll see. Nobody's asking me, if you're wondering. I don't know you weren't wondering that either.
No, I wasn't. And part of the formality, I mean, if you want to challenge a call, you might as well, you know, at least go out there and say you're going to do it. Didn't take a video group long to figure that was the right call at first base.
The pitcher DeDuno at the plate with 2 away.
Now, what it at least does is shows fans and shows us what the delay is. Right? I mean, if you didn't have to go out there, then how would we know?
I hear you. Tonight, roof is open. Final game of the homestand. The Brewers and the Twins are tied at 1 as we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Well, Mark Reynolds will lead off for the Crew. Last night, Mark Reynolds' opposite field number. His 13th home run of the year was a 2-run shot. And on the Powerball home run count, he is the club leader, and Reynolds is in the top 5 in the National League in that category. He has thrived with the playing time, at least with the power numbers. 13 homers, 27 runs batted in. Aramis Ramirez due to come back tomorrow. Looks like Ramirez is going to be the DH tomorrow, although Renicky didn't exactly let us know where he'll be hitting in the lineup. But it looks like designated hitter will be the first job for Aramis Ramirez. Probably play third base on Thursday is the plan if he comes through it all right. So then we'll see what Renicky does with Reynolds and Overbay. Could go back to a platoon. Aramis Ramirez is going to need occasional days off as he comes back. Nice to have options there.
Yeah, I talked to Ramirez today around the batting cage. He's raring to go. He can't wait to get back in that lineup and be part of what's been going on here. Such an integral part of the Brewers' early season success. I mean, how many big hits did Ramirez get in the month of April? Pretty much carried him offensively.
And Aramis has been a slow starter throughout his career. Got off to a fast start this year, and the Brewers are hoping that he'll get off to a fast start when he comes off the disabled list. Reynolds waves and misses. Down he goes on strikes.
That's that curveball. Everybody talking about that DeDuno curveball. It's a good one. Gets ahead in the count, goes straight down. You see the rotation, pretty much of a 1-7 rotation, and Reynolds waves at it on a pitch that's off the plate.
First strikeout for DeDuno. Here's Lyle Overbay now with 1 away. Overbay hitting 7th tonight. Maldonado hits 8th. In a lineup without Jonathan Lucroy. Lineup's going to look a lot different tomorrow with Lucroy and Ramirez back in there together. Ramos with a couple of minor league rehab starts. Played third base one game, was the designated hitter yesterday in the Midwest League in Appleton, Wisconsin. A little over an hour from here. The Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. That's a convenient spot to go for a rehab, and worked around some of the rain to get his at-bats in. Overbay comes in batting .205. A couple of homers, 14 driven in. And works the count full, 3-2. Samuel DeDuno winds it up, and the 3-2 is high, ball 4. Overbay walks. First walk issued by DeDuno, coming on the heels of his first strikeout, and a man on for Maldonado.
DeDuno, a pretty big guy. I mean, 6'3", 190 pounds, out of the Dominican Republic. Although he's not a kid, he's 30 years old. Got a birthday coming up in the beginning part of July. Made some starts with the Twins last year. Actually, as we mentioned, beat the Brewers in a pretty good game at Target Field. Talk to these Brewer hitters around the batting cage. They remember DeDuno. Nothing out of his hands straight. Everything moves. Good stuff for a guy that doesn't throw very hard.
Yeah, talking to some of the Twins personnel, they even mentioned that his catcher, Pinto, because of that fact, will just set up typically down the middle of the plate because of all of the movement one way or the other. And the thought with DeDuno is if he could just harness that better, have more control on what sinks and what cuts. He has great command of that curveball, but if he could harness the nastiness of his stuff, sometimes he doesn't know which way it's going to.
And the catcher doesn't either, which makes it tough on him.
Set up in the middle and take your best shot at it.
You don't know which way the glove's got to go.
Overbay at first, no threat to run here. Maldonado at the plate, and that one's inside. 2 balls and a strike. Martin Maldonado swinging the bat well as the backup catcher, and that has allowed him to be in the lineup a lot more. Bouncing ball, Plouffe got it, thrown to second for 1. Dozier turns in time, and the Twins go around the horn to turn 2. 1-1 ball game. We head to the 3rd inning at Miller Park. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. And by Gerhardt's, the kitchen and bath store. Find inspirational design solutions and quality kitchen and bath products for your home. Visit GerhardtStore.com. All tied at 1. Beautiful Miller Park on a Tuesday night. And we are pleased to be joined here in the booth by the Brewers scouting director, amateur scouting director, the man who handles the draft, Bruce Side. Great to have you with us.
Always great being here, B.A.
Big time.
Rock, good to be here.
Big time of the year for you, huh?
Yeah, it's a culmination of all of our scouts, hard work, and going out, thousands and thousands of miles of driving and a lot of, early morning flights and a lot of communication, and it's all coming together here this week.
How have the meetings been going here at Miller Park? I mean, you got all your cross checkers, all your scouts. I mean, do they get in there and they start fighting for their guy that they like, or walk us through that whole process?
Yeah, you can sense it. I mean, when they're feeling pretty good about a player. You don't have to come in and fight. All you got to do is just show passion, know the player, talk about the player, know his tools, know his makeup, his instincts, and it catches our ears and our antennas go up when they do that.
What do you anticipate? I mean, we've heard that the draft this year is filled with pretty good pitching.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's the majority of it is pitching, but there's going to be some pretty good athletic players and a couple pretty good position players that I think we'll have opportunities for in the first few rounds. So we're just lining up the board. We'll take what comes to us, and we feel pretty good, actually real good about the possibilities.
Sitting here with Bruce Side, who will embark on the amateur draft coming up this week. Thursday, the draft begins. The Brewers actually have, correct me if I'm wrong here, 3 of the top 50 draft picks this year. So that's a little bit different story than last year, and it's a little bit different kind of talent and player that you're having to evaluate.
Yeah, I think last year we were fortunate to have the player get to us in Devin Williams. So, but this year with 3 picks before 54 and the way the board's lining up, I think we're going to add some pretty good talent in the system, be it either pitchers or position players.
Bruce Side and his team will be holed up upstairs. The Astros have the first pick. See, the Minnesota Twins will pick number 5, and then the Brewers' first pick is number 12. So tell us, as you start to watch these picks go by, I mean, you obviously have how many guys that you have your eye on that you think will get to number 12, and then how does that change as the draft order drops?
Well, we've done a lot of work on that stuff, and we sit there and look at it all day. And as the board is right now, we probably are pretty settled. And we do feel there's a good chance a couple of them will get to us in the top echelon that we're looking at. And there's a chance a couple others will go in front of us. But I think with our first pick, I'm feeling pretty good about the possibilities.
Who's that going to be, Bruce?
I'll let you know on Thursday night.
Just kidding. He's got his order ready. I guess it's kind of like an infielder. You have all these scenarios. If I get the ball here, I'm going to this base. And I love some of your draft stories from years past and guys that you've been able to sign, because it's not just drafting them, it's signing them, and there's another game that involves as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look on this field in this starting lineup from 2009, and there's Chris Davis in left field, who was our 7th rounder. And there's Scooter Gennett, who was a 16th rounder signed by Tim McElvain, our scout, who's now a cross-checker for us. Josh Belofsky was our scout for Chris Davis, and he had passion for him. All of our cross-checkers basically saw him. And he was he was an unheralded guy out of Cal State Fullerton. And but he saw enough in it, and I went and saw him, and we came into the draft room, and we knew he had power. He only really played his junior year at Cal State Fullerton. But, Josh kept saying, this guy can hit, this guy's got power, and our other scouts went and saw him and basically said the same thing. So, and here he is today, helping us, be productive at the major league level. And the Scooter Gennett story obviously is one that's been told a few times. And I had Timmy in the home, up until the last day of the signing period, and he just became part of the family there. And then they finally said, "Hey, we're going to sign just to get you out of the house."
Yeah,
but
nice.
Good story. Here he is today.
And you have an ACT spy, right? You found out you didn't take the ACTs. You're not going to college.
He did great work on knowing what he wanted to do.
Called his bluff.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the ultimate scout's mic drop moment.
Right.
I'm going to Florida State, said Scooter Gennett. We don't think you are, actually.
Timmy said he's going to the school of MLB.
Nice.
The Major League Baseball draft is so much different than football and basketball because those sports they draft for immediate need. That's not necessarily the case in Major League Baseball.
No, and this is something that people kind of have to understand a little bit. The knowledgeable ones do. You don't draft for immediate need because if you're drafting for immediate need, you may miss out on what could be a really premier player down the road. So. You just got to take the best player that you feel has the most impact to help this team because it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road before they get here anyway. So you just let them be patient, you let them develop, and as we've done with many of our draft picks in recent years, you can see the patience that we put into these guys, the training that they're getting at the minor league level, and it's starting to really show at the upper levels of our system. And a lot of young, good players at the lower level.
You were telling us you got some all-stars down in the minor leagues. We talk about the minor leagues every night, and some of these guys have really put together good seasons.
Man, I tell you, you hope for these guys to come out and have good seasons, but up to this point, it's been really, really good. I mean, we had 8 all-stars at our AA affiliate in Huntsville. They clinched the championship of the Southern League here last night. We had 4 all-stars they've only picked 2 teams so far out of these 2 leagues from our 4 affiliates, and we've got 12 all-stars, and 4 of them are at the Florida State League, and I think there's a couple more that weren't recognized that probably should have been. Jorge Lopez being one. He's pretty good down there in the Florida State League. 21 years old.
I'm going to brag on you a little bit and give you an opportunity here because we sat here a couple of years ago as Mauer hits one sharply through. A base hit. Dozier on his way to third. And the Twins with 2 on now. Runners at the corners. Back-to-back singles with 1 out and Willingham coming up. But yeah, I'm gonna brag on you a little bit here, Bruce, because we sat here with a first-round pick, your first pick that particular year, a catcher who had hardly played.
Big fella?
Clint Coulter.
Oh, yeah.
He had hardly played, and I think there was a lot of concern there about what kind of player he was going to be. And you sat here and you told us this guy, it's going to take a while. There's going to be some development there. He hasn't played much, and he is going off in Single-A Wisconsin right now for the Timber Rattlers.
Well, I mean,
it's got to make you feel good.
Well, you just have to understand that these kids are young. They're human beings. They're getting into situations where they've never.
Willingham sends one deep left center, and that's not coming back. So Josh Willingham, a 3-run home run off Gallardo. And a quick strike for the Twins. They now lead it. A 4-1 game on the 4th home run by Willingham.
And picked on a first pitch fastball pretty straight by Yo, right down the middle of the plate. Actually, slider, my mistake. Tried to throw a slider early in the count. He hung it, left it down the middle of the plate, and Willingham, who's been very patient and picky at the plate, jumping on the first pitch and driving it out of here.
A home run swing, sending one into the Brewers bullpen, and it's 4-1 Minnesota. Extends his hitting streak to 7 games. So, but Bruce, just getting back to Coulter specifically, and then, the method of your madness, I guess, when you're drafting some of these guys, especially high school guys.
Well, with him, it was just, he was big and strong, and, bat speed, power, arm strength, tools, and you know what? He's a good makeup kid, if not great makeup kid. So you put all that together, and, it takes time, especially for some kids that come from the colder weather areas. And we saw the potential to really hit with some good power, and he's showing it. And he's got good plate discipline too. So, you know, when you get a kid that you feel has those qualities to them, you know, you jump on it. And he's the kind of guy that, you know, is taken to it, and no fear in his game. So, you know, add that to his abilities, and, you know, it's exciting. Still a ways to go, but in the right direction.
Yeah. Visiting with Bruce Side, who will head up the amateur draft coming up this week. And a lot of names out there, a lot of players that they're pouring through. As Gallardo, that's a foul tip. A foul ball off the bat of Arcia, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. So, Bruce, just give us kind of what the plan is for the rest of the week. We're sitting here on Tuesday night. What's the rest of the week going to be like for you?
No sleep, and just think about the names. No, I think we're kind of at the point where we're ready to make this thing happen.
And this is like your World Series coming up, right? I mean, you get fired up. You work all season long, and right after the draft is over this year, you start working on next year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, right away there's showcases, and I'll go see some of our affiliates, and but there's showcases in Cary, North Carolina, and all throughout the country. California has a big one at the end of the summer. But the next couple of days is, you know, really we're locked in. We're locked in. We're kind of, you know, looking at the board to see how possibly it could fall in the first few picks for us. And, you know, like I said, I really like the possibilities of this draft as far as the kids that we'll be sending out next month.
The other scouting directors, I mean, you communicate with each other. Is it kind of like you're playing poker? You don't want to show your hand. How's that work out?
I think you got to be a little careful. I mean, we're all in this together. You know, we're all at the same games a lot of the time. But, you know, you got to be careful. You know, the guys that are in front of you, you know, sometimes you'd like to know who they're thinking of. And sometimes that information does leak a little bit. But at the same time, you know, our draft is our draft. I'm not, you know, willing to, you know, put out there who we have interest in.
That's why you're not going to tell us, right?
Nobody's watching, Bruce.
If you come to the post-draft media session, then you'll find out who he took.
Yeah.
And that'll certainly be something we look forward to doing. And we usually have the first rounders up here to chat with them. But it's more than just they get the headlines, but it's so much more than that. And most of the big leaguers are not first rounders. Giovanni Gallardo, for example, a second round pick.
Right.
I saw where Greg Vaughn is going to represent the Brewers at the table at the MLB Network
Everyone
studios.
is excited about that. He's a very likable guy, very well-known guy here in Milwaukee, and it's a great presence for us at the studios at MLB.
He really doesn't have.
And Scott Martins is going to go represent us too. It's the second or third time he's going. So
there's no chance Greg's going to mess the names up, right? You're going to.
No,
you got a couple of procedures in place.
Yeah, he'll do good. He'll do fine.
Little soft liner. Jeanette is there, and that will end the inning. Bruce, thanks for your time.
Always
Best
a pleasure,
of luck.
man.
It's always great work.
Appreciate it, Rock. Always great seeing you.
Do good.
Thanks a lot.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Bruce Side got a big week coming up. He'll be heading up the amateur draft starting Thursday. as the Brewers are down 4-1. Josh Willingham, a 3-run homer in the third. How about our AT&T U-verse rewind, and we take you back to a game-winning double, a walk-off for Yovani Gallardo as a pinch hitter in extra innings. That was on Tuesday night. Gallardo came back on Wednesday, made a start against the Orioles, and got the win. Finds himself trailing 4-1. We'll see if the Brewers can fight their way back tonight as we play in the bottom of the third inning. A lot of baseball to be played yet. Always great to catch up with Bruce Side.
Sounds like they have a pretty good plan in place.
A shattered bat, and Plouffe will take care of Gallardo for the first out.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Major League Baseball draft that's so unlike the other sports, is that it takes a while, 2-3 years, to figure out if you made a good draft choice, sometimes longer than that. An inexact science, certainly. Right off the end of the bat, and Yovani holding nothing but the handle.
You can see that vibration that goes through the hands. Doesn't feel good. So 1 out. Deduno facing Gene Segura now. Now, by the way, the Brewers will have 3 picks on Thursday night. They'll have the 12th pick, and then they'll draft again number 41, and then they'll draft at number 50. Off the foot of Deduno. That's going to go for a base hit. Segura is aboard again, his second hit.
Yeah, just continues to hit. I mean, that leadoff spot has been very good to Segura, who really doesn't like it until this stretch. He didn't like the hitting leadoff. I'm not sure why, but I think he's rethinking that position. He has been the toughest out in his lineup since he's moved into that number 1 spot.
This is his 12th game batting leadoff, and he has 18 hits now. He's 18 for 52 out of the leadoff spot. He scored a run in the first, which means he has as many runs scored as games played as a leadoff hitter. 12.
And 7 in the first inning.
Brewers scored in the first tonight. Twins got 1 in the second inning to tie it, and then a 3-run home run by Willingham in the third to give him the lead in the top of this inning. Jeanette had a base hit single in the first inning. Jeanette homered against the Cubs a couple of days ago on Sunday, pulled one down the right field line. Scooter's on a nice run at the plate as well. He's been playing a lot with a stretch of right-handers on the mound, and figures to be playing a lot as well. He and Ricky Weeks in that left-right platoon. Minnesota has 4 consecutive right-handed starting pitchers.
And figures to get some pretty good pitches to hit tonight, batting in front of Ryan Braun. That was one of our Twitter questions on Brewers Live pregame today. Why is it such a good spot in the lineup in front of Ryan Braun? Well, they don't want to walk Jeanette to get the Braun with men on base, so he's going to get some good strikes to hit.
Long look by Deduno, and not real committed to this next pitch, or at least the suggestion from his catcher, and wants to start over again. Going with the heat. And he misses. 1 ball, 1 strike.
See the fastball, 87, 89 miles an hour. Not a whole lot of velocity for Deduno, but it makes up for it with movement. And hasn't really thrown too many curveballs unless he's been ahead in the count.
Well, even though the Brewers are down 3 runs, it is early enough in the game where Renicky wouldn't totally shut down the running game at this point. If they feel like they can steal a base, they'll do it.
You just don't want to get thrown out down by 3 runs no matter what the inning. Take off, better make it.
Jeanette fouls it away, and he's mad at himself. Thought he had one to handle.
Every now and again, he will drop that front shoulder and get underneath the pitch on the outer half of the plate. He always keeps that front shoulder closed, but if he doesn't get on top, that's when he gets those fly balls to left.
Top of the Brewers order, trying to get it started up again. Scored a run in the first. Had back-to-back hits to start the game against Diduno. And until that Segura infield hit a moment ago, they hadn't had a hit since that first. Overbay did walk, but Maldonado bounced into a double play in the second inning to end it. Twins have 4 runs on 6 hits already off Gallardo.
Well, spending a lot of time over there with Gene Segura up by 3 runs. And a hitter can hurt you a lot more than that base runner.
And Segura takes off. Jeanette pops it up. It's behind the plate, and that will reach the seats.
Oh, an amazing jump that he got. I mean, he had a running jump, but Segura, I should say Jeanette, forced a swing because he's got 2 strikes. If he could have taken it, he would have, but he couldn't. What a jump.
Saw Dozier in the background trying to catch Segura napping, trying to trick him into thinking it was a ground ball, just in case it stayed playable. Heads up by the Twins second baseman. We'll do it again. Another 2-2 coming, and that's outside, ball 3. And the speed of Segura and the threat of the stolen base. Diduno tried a little slide step there, and he missed badly with that pitch. That's the other part of a team that steals bases. That's what it'll do to a pitcher.
Try and beat too quick. The arm drags and everything up in the strike zone.
There he goes again, and Jeanette fouls it back. It's a pretty good bet if you're leading off at first and the pitcher gives you a slide step and misses badly with the pitch to go to a full count. He's not going to do it again.
No. And you're going to get a great jump, although Segura is going to take off anyway in a full count.
Twins are hoping for a double play ball. Brewers are hoping to get Braun up there with a couple of men on base. Full count, 1 away. There goes Segura, and Jeanette, a half swing. He goes, and the throw is into center field. And Segura will have to hold his ground. So a strikeout, but a stolen base. And Segura is in scoring position for Braun. Stolen base number 11.
Yeah, ball's in the dirt. It was picked by the catcher Pinto, but because first base was occupied, Jeanette an automatic out at home plate, but a stolen base for Segura.
So Segura hoping to get on the move here with Braun coming up. Ryan had an awkward swing against Diduno in the first inning. He did put it in play, and then he hustled down the line to prevent a double play. He got an RBI out of it. First and only Brewers run. Braun with 9 homers, 28 runs batted in. And Diduno missing badly again. 2-0.
That fastball, then curveball. He's got first base open. You wonder if he's going to be careful with Braun, although you got Gomez coming up. Not the smartest thing to do to pitch around Braun right now to face Gomez. He was having a terrific season.
See what he gives him here. 2-0. A fastball strike. There's Gomez. The former Twin. He'd love a shot with a couple of men on base. Two and one to Braun. Slow roller foul.
I was talking to Ryan around the batting cage yesterday, and we were going through the rotation of the Twins and asked him about Deduno, and the only thing he said was his ball moves everywhere. Cuts it, sinks it, nothing straight out of his hand. He said he can be tough. And he was last year against the Brewers.
Well, Deduno fell behind 2-0. Now he's 2-2 on Braun. Full count. Only Gomez with more RBIs than Braun. And Braun, remember, missing a couple of weeks. He went on the disabled list with an oblique injury. Full count, 2 outs, and Braun hits it hard, but right at the shortstop Escobar, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers strand a runner in scoring position. Deduno gets through it. Still 4-1 Twins. By Marshfield Clinic. Heading to the 4th inning, and Minnesota 4-1 gives us a chance to look at today's Feldco All-Star voting update. 8 players on the ballot. They have released the results after the 2nd week, and Ryan Braun dropping to 6th, but Lucroy up a spot to 3rd. Gene Segura up a few spots as well. Gomez is up 1 spot. He's 5th. Got to be in the top 3 to be an all-star starter. So we encourage you to vote often at Brewers.com. You can vote up to 25 times per email account. So as we like to say, everybody in the sound of our voice, if you'll vote the maximum amount, then you'll have a great deal to do with Milwaukee Brewers at the All-Star game in Minneapolis and Target Field.
I got to believe that a team that is in first place by 5 games deserves to be well represented in that game. I think Gomez and Jonathan Lucroy.
Those are the top vote getters At the specific positions, you just go as an outfielder, so no quote-unquote center fielder is there. Outfielders are all lumped together. Still got a lot of time to vote, but make sure you do your part at Brewers.com. Two and two on Josmil Pinto, and a bouncer backhanded beautifully by Overbay. Not an easy hop. Overbay takes it to the bag for the first out.
Yeah, just good soft hands on the backhand that time by Lyle, and he's been doing that for a long time. Very solid defensively, playing way off the bag, and good thing that would have been a base hit had he been playing in a normal spot. There's that shifting again, stealing a base hit.
And one gone for Eduardo Escobar. Overbay is slick defender at first base. The Brewers have upgraded their defense at first base considerably this year with Reynolds and Overbay.
Brewers have committed only 32 errors now. That error charged on Scooter Gennett. And back in the second inning, 32 errors. There's currently third in the National League in fielding percentage.
There's a bouncer to Overbay again. And another 3 unassisted put out. 2 up, 2 down for Gallardo with the pitcher coming up.
Well, actually, they're tied for second. My mistake. Hey, the Brewers look to extend their lead over their NL Central foes Friday, June 13th through Sunday the 15th. When the flamethrower Aroldis Chapman and the Cincinnati Reds face off against Jonathan Lucroy and the Brew Crew. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com today.
Only 3 home games in the middle of a couple of long stretches on the road. That series against Cincinnati. Gallardo struck out Deduno in the second inning. And it looks like he's on his way again. 0-2 the count. Giovanni has 2 Ks. One big swing of the bat has given the Twins a 3-run lead. Josh Willingham, a 3-run homer last inning. And Deduno strikes out. 3 Ks for Gallardo. He needed that. 3 up and 3 down. Gomez will lead off. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. Clear skies up above. It's a beautiful night here in Milwaukee. And the moon is out. What kind of gibbous we looking at there, Rock? We got some kind of waxing or waning gibbous?
One of the two. I'm not really up on it right now.
Yeah. You're dialed in. 4-1. Twins lead the Brewers. Here's Gomez, the Brewers Player of the Month in May. Shared that honor with Will Smith, who was the Pitcher of the Month. In the month of May, they were given their awards before the game tonight. Gomez, a big hack. 1 ball, 1 strike. Brewers have been quiet offensively. Scored a run in the first, had back-to-back hits. Not a whole lot going on since. Gomez, defensive swing.
Yeah, completely full. That's a good curveball, but he hasn't really thrown too many unless he's been even or ahead in the count. 1-1 will throw 1, 0-2, 1-2 certainly, but it's a good pitch for him. It's not a curveball that is typically thrown in the strike zone for a called strike. Usually those straight downward breaking curveballs are tough to throw in for a strike.
Ball and 2 strikes on Gomez. And he whistles that one down the left field line, foul. Just got ahead of it. He hit it sharply.
Great job of pulling the hands in. He was waiting, trying to protect the plate. Diduno came inside on him and just pulled the hands in, and nice short stroke. Watch him. Where those hands are, they're right in front of his chest. Opens up those hips and almost able to keep it fair. That's a nice piece of hitting by Carlos.
Beautiful look courtesy of Phantom Cam as Gomez takes ball 2.
And they let those hands drift out. That's just a knuckle buster right there. Let's keep the hands in on a pitch in. You make that adjustment, you get the barrel on it.
And he hammers that one into left field. Willingham playing deep makes the catch. So Gomez lines out. And 1 gone in the 4th. Powerball home run leaderboard has Mark Reynolds at the top of the list. Reynolds with 13 home runs, hit 1 last night. Had a 2-run opposite field home run last night. He's currently tied for 3rd in the National League. Giancarlo Stanton leads the league with 16. Tulowitzki has 14. And then Justin Upton and Mark Reynolds with 13.
And Stanton slowed down quite a bit. Hit a couple against the Brewers in 1 game.
Stuck on 16 for a few days.
Yeah.
Chris Davis has 9 home runs this year, tied with Braun. Takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Stuck on 16 for over a week, isn't he? He had 16 when we were there.
Right.
Yeah.
A 2-homer game. He got into a pretty bad funk offensively in the last 2 games of that series. A lot of strikeouts.
They come in bunches for guys like him. Most power hitters do come and get him in bunches.
Davis didn't like that call. I thought it was a little high. He's down 1 ball, 2 strikes. Davis into left, and Willingham lays out. It's out of his glove. Davis will hold up at first base. Willingham, a great effort there, but the ball popped free, and a base hit for Chris Davis.
Yeah, the disadvantage of playing very deep in the outfield. That's a pretty routine fly ball for most outfielders, but Willingham not very athletic. Doesn't have a lot of range, and probably should have had that one. That'll be a base hit for Chris Davis.
Gomez lines out to start the inning. Now Davis singles to left, and here is Mark Reynolds. I mentioned the top 4 in the league in home runs. Troy Tulowitzki has 14. He's second behind Stanton. And Mark Reynolds' home run percentage per at bat is right there with Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki as a shortstop with 14 home runs. Reynolds is homering every 12.9 at bats. And that is even a better pace than the year he hit 40 home runs with the Arizona Diamondbacks in 09, his best home run season.
And that's not a bad home run hitter's ballpark. You know, Chase Field is about the same category as Miller Park. Ball flies out of both. That one he hit yesterday would have been out of most ballparks. That one to right field. He's got tremendous power to all fields.
See if he's got the green light here. He takes ball 4. So 2 on, and the Brewers with something going in the 4th. 2 men on with 1 out.
Hey, that brings us to tonight's Tavern of the Game winner. It's Stevie O's of Stevens Point. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin. And Miller Lite, I didn't have to say Stevie O's of Stevens Point in Stevens Point, did I?
No, I think the first part of that
a little redundant.
You forgot the corporate part of that, though.
Yeah.
That kind of makes them more official.
High class joint.
Yeah, you can't just open up a bar in your basement, you know, and get on the Tavern of the Game.
Yes, you can.
Depends on who you know.
If you're in the Tavern League, you can.
Here's Lyle Overbay. Well, see if the Brewers can get something rolling here. They scored a run in the first, none since. Overbay batting with 2 on and 1 out. Way inside. A lot of movement on that pitch. If you're wondering, Deduno has thrown 3 wild pitches this year. He's also had 3 balks this year. Two and 0. He can get wild.
Yep, sometimes that movement works against him. Now, if you're a catcher, you're Pinto back there, you got to adjust your target a little bit based on where he's missing. And most of the time he's been missing on the arm side. In on right-handers, away to left-handers.
And Overbay works it to a 3-0 count.
So what you do if you're back there behind home plate, you adjust your target. You give him that target pretty much down the middle. See if the movement's going to catch the corner.
Two on, 1 out. Overbay takes ball 4. Back-to-back walks and not close against Reynolds and Overbay. And the bases are loaded for Martin Maldonado. That's going to send Rick Anderson, the Twins pitching coach, out to the mound.
And next pitch is going to be number 70 for Deduno, and that's quite a bit. They're having a difficult time managing the pitch count. He's only had 1 3-batter inning. That was the second. Although he did walk Overbay, but got out of the inning with a double play. So the Brewers have had their chances. They've had men on base every inning.
Well, you know, Rick Anderson talking to Deduno about the ground ball to get him out of an inning. Deduno throws a lot of ground balls. He gets a lot of ground balls, better stated. Matter of fact, he's best among Twins pitchers in ground ball ratio. Bases are loaded up. Maldonado trying to do some damage. Let the pitcher Gallardo due up next. In there for a strike. Caught the outside corner. If you're wondering, Maldonado does have a grand slam in his career. Did it 2 years ago here at Miller Park against the Padres. I think it was the last day of the season. October 2nd of 2012.
He figures he's not going to be throwing curveballs based on how difficult it's been for him to find the plate with a fastball. He doesn't want to spike one in the dirt and have him go into the screens. You can pretty much forget about that pitch for now. If he throws it, just take it.
1 ball, 1 strike. And there's the breaking ball. The grounder through. Base hit. Davis is in. Reynolds will stop at third. And a good thing. Willingham got a good throw off. Maldonado, an RBI single, and it's 4-2 Minnesota.
Man, because of the man at third base, he hung the curveball. Didn't want to spike it. Watch where he leaves it. He hasn't left the curveball up there yet until this pitch on a 1-1 count to Maldonado. And Martin able to find a hole in the left field.
Well, a couple of feet one way or the other, and that's going to turn into an inning-ending double play, but Maldonado finds the hole. And the Brewers are within a pair. And here is Gallardo now. 1 man out, bases loaded. Gallardo has a hitting streak going, believe it or not, which is not something you typically say with a pitcher at the plate. 2-game hitting streak for Gallardo. That game winner is a pinch hitter against the Orioles. Then he had one the next day in his start.
And pitchers' hitting streaks aren't typically back-to-back days. Although he didn't get that hit as a pitcher.
In a 2-0 count, Gallardo will be ready to swing. And he breaks his bat. The shortstop Escobar to Dozier, and the throw to first, and the Twins get out of it. Worst case scenario right there. Brewers do get a run. It's 4-2 Minnesota through 4.
Park, the Brewers trail 4-2, joined now by the executive director of the Brewers Community Foundation, Cecilia Gorin. Cecilia, time is ticking. Fans have until 11:59 tonight to go to brewers.com/BCF Week and vote on some tremendous items for the ultimate auction.
We have great items, Sophia. I want to thank Fox and your colleagues for supporting this effort. We raise a lot of money to support important causes. So I want to encourage people to go online, brewers.com/BCF Week, and bid until your heart's content, because you know we'll be doing good things with the money that we raise.
Can you remind fans, there's 15 incredible experiences available. What are some of the highlights that fans can bid on?
Well, we call it the ultimate auction. We have an all-star package. We have a rooftop tour. We have lunch with your colleagues, of course, and visits, behind-the-scene visits to your set. And so I would encourage people to go to brewers.com/BCF Week.
Thanks, Cecilia. And again, you have until 11:59 to do that. And BA and Rock, grab lunch with BA and Bill. It's still on the table. There's still a fantasy camp trip on the table. So there's a lot for fans to bid on.
I wonder if we could combine the lunch with us and the fantasy camp at some point, as Gallardo takes a spill on that play between the mound and first base. I think Maldonado just making sure he's all right. Gallardo is. Nobody even coming out from the dugout, but it's a perfect bunt. Gallardo, once it got past him and he lost his balance, no chance.
Yeah, pretty good bunt. And Yo did the best he could, just couldn't finish it off. You get a guy with speed like that drops down a bunt in that spot. Good luck. You were saying about the dinner with you and I?
Yeah, so there's a dinner on the board. There's also a fantasy camp spot on the board you can auction for. And I'm thinking maybe we should sweeten the pot for us, because the truck right now is making a lot more in the auction than we are. And
it's early on. I mean, we have a lot of tricks up our sleeve, and we don't want to give them away all at once. You know, we have our reunion game that's coming up in August, first part of August. You know, we're the fantasy campers from last year, last winter. Get to play a game at Miller Park. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe to sweeten the pot for whoever it is that buys the package, pick one person, and they can play in the game at Miller Park in a fantasy camp reunion.
Oh, I like that. That's a good call.
So I'm going to throw that out there. That's one of the few things that I have the power to control. And so I'm just going to throw that one out there.
So it's the fantasy camp that you can bid for to go to the full experience and during the off season, but we're talking about adding a spot on the roster for the reunion game.
Right, that's coming up in August. So if you buy the package, you get dinner with us and Sophia and Matt LePay. You pick one person out of the group. Typically it's going to be a male. Doesn't have to be. And that person will be able to participate in the reunion game at Miller Park.
Oh, I like that. That's good pot sweetener right there. Good job. I knew you'd come up with something. Grab some grub with Brian and Bill. And where are we at here? We're stuck. That's where we were the last time we looked at it.
I know. You know, that game at Miller Park comes on August 4th. It's an off day for the Brewers.
So we could arrange the whole. Oh, there's not a game that day.
Right.
So you'd have to make 2 trips to Miller Park for the dinner and then one to participate in the fantasy camp reunion.
Right. It's worth it though.
Well, hopefully it'll get that number moving north a little bit from 1150.
It's only the 5th inning.
Wow, it is only the 5th
I'm sure
inning.
you're going to be able to come up with something. All the contacts you have around town.
Starting to feel like we're going to have lots of time to discuss this throughout the night. This game is moving along at a funereal pace. Gallardo and Deduno throwing a lot of pitches. Giovanni's at 82 right now, and we're only in the 5th. Got a runner at first, and Dozier sends one deep to left, and that one is gone. A home run for Brian Dozier. And it's 6-2 Minnesota. 2 big swings of the bat tonight, producing 5 of the 6 runs. Dozier and Willingham with home runs. That's number 12 for Dozier. That leads all American League second baseman.
Yep, a 2-1 pitch. So Giovanni getting behind in the count. Dozier, his third hit. And this one a big fly to left. It was a fastball, middle in, and Dozier looking for it, turns on it, and knocks it out of here. Not bad power for a second baseman.
Right on the barrel. Here's Mauer. Gallardo misses down and away. Well, that's how fast it can turn, right? The Brewers sitting there with bases loaded, down 2, 1 out, looking like a chance at a big inning there. Gallardo bouncing to the double play and gives up the 2-run homer in the very next half inning. Twins with 6 runs on 8 hits. Second home run. Willingham hit a 3-run homer in the third. Now Dozier with a 2-run shot. Giovanni Gallardo had not allowed more than 4 runs in a start this season. Did that on 3 occasions as Mauer slices one foul. Gallardo's shortest start of the year was 3 1/3 innings against the Atlanta Braves. He gave up 4 runs in that game. That was a game he rolled his ankle and had to be taken out.
And just having a tough time commanding his pitches tonight, getting a little bit too much of the plate, missing his spots, and you're only getting it up there at about 92. That's important.
Joe Mauer singled off Gallardo in the third. That extended a pretty impressive hitting streak for Mauer. In interleague games, Mauer has a 19-game hitting streak. That's the longest active streak in the big leagues. Had 3 hits last night. Has a hit tonight and a walk. And Gallardo hits the edge, strikes him out looking. First out of the 5th inning is a K for Gallardo, his 4th.
Yep, right at the bottom of the strike zone, and Mauer watches this one. Yep, just at the bottom, right at the knees, and Giovanni gets a call by home plate umpire Mark Wegner. I'm trying to figure out something to say really smart about the 19-game interleague hitting streak and why that would be.
I think that stands on its own,
and
Rock.
there's not much to say about that, right? He's a good hitter. He hits everybody. He's always hit well against the Brewers and loves it here at Miller Park.
He's hitting over 340 at Miller Park. Mauer. Here's Willingham. 3-run shot in the third. It was a big one. Gave the Twins a 4-1 lead. He jumped on Gallardo quickly in that 3rd inning after Giovanni had struck him out looking in the first.
They got him on curveballs his first time up. Tried to slip a slider by him on the first pitch. And Willingham knocked it out of the ballpark. There's a curveball there. Well, first pitch slider right down the middle, and Giovanni knew it as soon as he heard the crack of the bat. Made it a 4-1 game.
2-1 the count. Willingham bounces foul. Willingham spent 6 weeks on the disabled list, had a hand injury, was hit by a pitch. He just came back last week. Actually, it's been a couple of weeks now. 25th of May. He's 9 for his last 20. 4 home runs, 10 runs batted in, and he's walked 7 times. Swinging the heavy lumber since returning to the Twins lineup. There's a called strike 3. Gallardo hits the edge with a fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts after the 2-run homer by Dozier.
They caught him guessing, looking curveball.
Time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag WisFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. 2 outs. Here is Oswaldo Arcia. Arcia is 0 for 2, both of his outs in the air. Arcia spent a long time on the disabled list as well. Had a wrist injury. Arcia was put on the DL on April 9th. He just returned last week. He has a couple of homers, 5 RBIs since coming back. And a swing and a miss. Gallardo strikes him out. Maldonado secures it at first. And after the 2-run homer by Dozier, Gallardo strikes out the next 3. But it's 6-2 Minnesota. To Minnesota. Our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. Gene Segura back in that leadoff spot, 12th consecutive game, and right away a base hit. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And Segura up there for the 3rd time. DeDuno with a high pitch count as well. He's at 76 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. How about Gallardo striking out 3 in a row to win the 5th? 6 Ks now for Giovanni, but 6 earned runs on the board against him.
Yeah, he got some pretty good hitters, didn't he? Joe Mauer, Willingham. Yeah, 2 on fastballs, 1 on a breaking pitch.
Segura, the lazy fly ball to left, and Willingham is there for the out. 1 away, first time Segura has been retired. Brewers have activity in their bullpen with Tyler Thornburg throwing. Could be the end of the line for Gallardo. Here's Scooter Gennett. Gennett singled to right his first time up, and then DeDuno struck him out in the 3rd. Batting 2nd tonight with Lucroy out of the lineup. By the way, Gennett was given the error. They changed that from an E2 to an E4. If you like to keep the scorebook at home. And Gennett draws the walk. So the Brewers continue to get the base runners. A one-out walk will bring Ryan Braun to the plate. Our Carsoup.com trivia question: which 4 players from Wisconsin played their entire career with the Brewers? Had to play at least one game to call it a career. And there are 4 of them. We all know one of them for sure. Our colleague Jerry Augustine.
Well, then I knew 2 of them then.
Right. The second one is pretty familiar, and then the other 2 you're going to have to work for.
Yeah.
Braun takes a ball down and in. Was I mistaken, or was there a large red-headed man in the booth briefly?
Yeah, Rob Deere. He's in town. And, you know, called me up a couple days ago, said, "Hank, come on up." And he's here, and then he disappeared. You know, welcome to my world. I don't know what happened to him.
I was going to welcome him to the audience, and the rooster left. He took up a significant amount of space when he came down here, and he's left a gaping hole between us now.
Yeah, you think I'm big?
Is the rooster coming back, or
yeah,
is that?
He'll be back.
It?
He'll be back.
Okay.
Yep. I told him to come back in the 6th.
Oh, I see.
We're going to have him on, chat with him a little bit, see what he's doing in town. Not sure what he's doing here. Lives in Arizona.
I'm afraid to ask.
No, he was elected into the Wall of Honor. That's coming up on the next homestand.
New Brewers Wall of Honor. That'll be the Friday of that Red Series. I'm looking forward to that.
Got about 40 guys being honored.
We'll be there. We'll have cameras on that. It's going to be fun. Rob Deere. So you didn't think he was good to just sit here for a half inning, or you told him to leave the booth?
No, I didn't tell him to leave. I just said you're going to be on. I kind of mouthed it without actually saying it on the air.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear it.
I said, we're going to have you on in the 6th, and he kind of bolted. He ran out the booth, and I don't know where he is.
And Braun lines one to center field, a base hit. So Braun finally squares one up. And now 2 on with 1 away.
Now just peck away, get 1 here, 1 there, maybe drop a 3 spot on him somewhere, but don't get it. Try to get it all back at once. And you talk about a beautiful approach. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that is just a picture-perfect swing, a good approach, perfectly balanced upon contact, and a good follow-through. And Ryan Braun, just a classic swing up there at the plate.
Well, that'll bring Gomez to the plate. Brewers in need of a big hit, an impact hit in the lineup. Maldonado drove in a run last inning. Had an RBI from Braun on a fielder's choice in the 1st. Those are the 2 runs tonight. The former Twin, Carlos Gomez. And Deduno misses up high. Had a good chat with Paul Molitor on our Brewers Live pregame show. Craig Kashawn going one-on-one with the Hall of Fame member. And he was under the tutelage of Paul Molitor, was Gomez in his time in Minnesota.
Paulie's doing well.
Well, he's in uniform again. Still looks like he could play, right? There he is.
In good shape. Hadn't changed a bit.
The Igniter. 15 seasons as a Brewer, 5 times an All-Star. Molitor was always a fan of Gomez and worked with Gomez on his base running, trying to find that sweet spot between reckless and aggressive. I think they're still searching for it, but Gomez has turned into the all-star that Molitor thought he could be, and certainly had the skills to be.
Man, a lot of people say Molitor was one of the best base runners of all time. I mean, as far as instincts and speed, and Gomez not a bad base runner in his own account.
3 balls and a strike, 2 men on, and Gomez in the air to right. It's a long run for Arcia, and he is out of room in the stands. Full count. Gomez will get another pitch from Deduno. Gomez with 11 homers. Has 11 steals, 32 driven in. He's the top run producer for the Brewers. Has thrived in this cleanup position. And a bouncing ball to third. Backhanded by Plouffe to second for one. The throw to first is in time. Man, oh man, the double plays are coming in a flurry for the Twins in this series. The Brewers have had a couple of chances against Aduno. Southwest Airlines non-stoppable play as the Twins go around the horn to get the speedy Gomez. 6 double plays turned by Minnesota in this series already.
Yep, 3 tonight. And 2 times with a man in scoring position.
The Brewers didn't bat in the 9th inning yesterday. So you're talking about 13 bottoms of the innings and 6 double plays. 6 out of 13.
Right. Yep.
Gallardo is out. And the new pitcher is Tyler Thornburg.
Well, Tyler's been outstanding this year. 26th appearance for Thornburg, a 3-1 record. Thornburg's last appearance was Friday against the Cubs. A little bit of a hiccup. 2 earned runs in an inning of work. Also walked a couple of batters. You see his numbers. That's about as many strikeouts as walks, or I should say innings pitched. And he's not only the 1 home run.
So Thornburg is on. Gallardo gives up 6 earned runs in 5 innings, 8 hits allowed. His worst start of the year, but does end up with 6 Ks. And Plouffe takes a ball. Oh, the Rooster's back.
He's writing me a note. Where'd you go, by the way?
It's a special little note.
Okay, thank you.
we had you here in the booth. I could feel your presence
No, I
here.
got in trouble because he said I was too early.
And then you left.
I always get in trouble. You know this. I always get in trouble because I'm so late.
And then he came early, right?
And he booted me out.
You didn't have to leave, man. You could have just hung out with us.
I would have loved
been
to.
writing us notes.
I would have loved to. And I got the boss kicked me out.
No, that's not the case.
Rob Deere.
So congratulations. The Wall of Honor is coming up in June 13th. I mean, what's that mean to you, being in the Brewers Wall of Honor?
You know what? Look at my arm. I have goosebumps. That is that's a true honor. Knowing that, I came here and played for 6 years and played amongst Robin and Paulie and Hank Aaron and Raleigh and all the great players and Bill Schroeder and to be a part of that is it really is a true honor. And unfortunately I'm not going to be able to be here because my twin, who's 21, she graduates from UCSD from college, so I've got to be there for that.
Families first.
Got to be there. Yeah. Congratulations.
But thank you very much to the fans and Milwaukee Brewers and everybody involved in that. I feel totally honored.
Yeah. So what brings you to Milwaukee these days?
You know, we're myself and I have 3 partners that we kind of decided. You know, I was with the Chicago Cubs last year, and I decided that I just wasn't going to leave for 7 months and be away from my kids. So I wanted to start this lesson deal.
And hitting clinics?
Yeah, just hitting clinics. And, you know, the main focus is being on hitting clinics and being involved with that. And we'll touch on infield play and outfield play and obviously base running. But we're not going to I'm not going to talk about pitching. But it's been great. I was in Green Bay all day. I went up to Lambeau Field today, and I saw the stadium for the first time. We've made a huge amount of connections, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So those that didn't know, obviously, there you go, Rob Deere jersey. So you're still popular around here.
Yeah, I took a picture with him earlier.
Did you give him that jersey?
Yeah.
Hey, put this on.
There was one Rob Deere jersey,
up when I'm on the air.
There's like 50 Bill Schroeder jerseys.
Okay,
Not true.
All right. But for those who just a refresher, you were the assistant hitting coach for the Cubs last year while Dale was managing, and
Dale did a great job.
No longer doing that. So what you're doing is you're putting together some baseball clinics around Wisconsin or other states, or what's going on?
RobDeereBaseball.com, and you know I have so many contacts in Milwaukee and based around, you know, Wisconsin and the whole deal, that we kind of said, well, let's just see how this goes. And we have stuff now in Ohio, and we have stuff in Chicago, and we have 7 camps here, and it's been fun to see the whole thing kind of develop. Because it's something I want to do. It's something that I know how to know what to do, and it's fun for the kids. It's fun to be a part of. You know, you start off with 3 days, and all of a sudden you see on the last day everybody's kind of become better, and that to me is, you know, it's a lot of fun to see.
Right. What's the age group of kids?
You know, we're starting off 7 to 9. There'll be a group 4 hours in the morning, and then probably 10 or 11 to 16, and then we've been talking about today up in Green Bay about having a softball deal. There's some talk about having, you know, girls come out and be a part of softball, and as you well know, whether it be golf or softball or baseball, I mean, it all kind of pertains to the same concept.
Nice.
I just I get weird when I grab the big green ball and try to, you know,
That's what the ball looked like to you.
No, it looked like a little marble to me most of the time.
Kids, Rob Deere actually led the Brewers in home runs in 5 consecutive seasons during his time in Milwaukee.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Keep score?
You did. Come on, quit lying.
I didn't. I knew I led the Brewers in strikeouts for 5 straight years because I was told that so many times.
Full count to Josmiel Pinto as Thornburg takes over for Gallardo, and there's a fly ball to Braun.
What a great night, huh?
Yeah, it's a perfect night for baseball. Brewers have stranded a few out there, and you know, I'm always fascinated talking to you, Rob, about hitting, and I first got to know this at fantasy camp. Now, when you were giving hitting instruction, and based on these numbers, I'm thinking 137 home runs as a Brewer, and you've done all this great home run work. You were going to teach us how to, you know, back leg them out of the ballpark, but that wasn't the case. You don't teach
Mike Keith, my partner, and Rock knows him. He's developed T-shirts, and it's all about do as I say, not as I did. And subconsciously, I try to talk to kids about a two-strike approach. I try to talk to them about using the whole field, being a good hitter. You don't learn how to hit home runs until later in life. And throughout my lessons or throughout camps or whatever it may be, I never talk about hitting home runs because we always talk about that and everybody hears, oh, well, so and so is going to make this much money or do this. He hits 30 home runs or 40 home runs. Let's teach kids how to be a good hitter, to go up there and have a good at bat, and that's our whole concept.
But the home runs will come, right, with a good approach.
Well, I mean, how many times? I mean, you've hit a lot of home runs, but how many times do you go up there and try to think about hitting a homer and
never?
It doesn't happen.
No.
It's a very responsible thing to say and a responsible way to teach.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer for a fantasy camper, though, to have Rob Deere tell you to slap the ball to the opposite field.
I'm big on bunting.
I mean, that was kind of lame, I got to tell you. There's no bunting at fantasy camp, or we would have been bunting.
Yeah, I want them all to bunt.
I mean, I'm thinking Rob Deere, he's going to tell me how to back leg one. He's like, okay, what I really want you guys to choke up on the bat.
You guys just bunt. Let's get base runners. Let's win games.
Think the other way.
Boring.
No. Fantasy campers, they're so much fun. I mean, we have so much fun during that, right?
Yeah,
you and I are good hitting it the other way.
I could do it in batting practice.
I can't imagine the conversations you two guys would have.
Oh.
The home run conversations.
One of the greatest teammates I ever had.
Bill Schroeder?
One of the greatest friends I've still to this day.
You didn't notice he doesn't say, greatest players I ever played with. It's just a
I
good
saw
guy.
your jerseys all over. They're everywhere.
Now, where's the closest one of your camps from Milwaukee? Where's that going to be?
We're gonna be at the Rock.
Okay, Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Rock. We're talking about that tomorrow, and then a lot of stuff is in Green Bay. I think we have 6 things here in Milwaukee, but it's a great situation.
We cued the band.
Thanks
you guys.
Rooster.
Thanks you guys.
Great to see you.
That
Good
was
luck
fun.
in your new venture.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks.
Rob Deere. Now you can leave. Clinic 6'2", Minnesota, and our Carshoot.com trivia. Which 4 players from Wisconsin played their entire career with the Brewers? And there's Augie, Jerry Augustine, the first to make it to the big leagues. And then Jim Gantner spent his entire career here. Gumby, Willie Miller, and Matt Erickson are the 4. Just that 1 year for Erickson.
Yeah, Willie and I were teammates down in the minor leagues.
Is that right?
Currently lives up in West Bend.
Okay. Yeah, Augie got him right away when we asked him. He was all over that. But if you know that, you are a diehard Brewers fan if you got those 4. So congratulations. Tell them what they've won, Rock.
And Matt Guerrier, an introduction to Matt Guerrier. It's 9th appearance for Guerrier and a .324 earned run average. And Guerrier has had a good long career. Spent most of his time with the Twins from 2004 to 2010.
So both starters are out. Both go 5 innings. DeDuno is in line for the win. 5 innings, 2 earned runs. Gallardo went 5 innings, 6 earned runs. And, both of them labored through 5. But you got to give DeDuno credit. He got 3 ground ball double plays to end innings. Once when the Brewers had the bases loaded, the other with 2 on. And Davis draws the walk, so more base runners for Milwaukee. A man on to start this 6th. And Gardenhire has seen this dance before. That is the 5th walk for the Brewers tonight. Talking it over with Rick Anderson about the next move, perhaps. Here's Mark Reynolds now. Great to see Rob Deere.
Yeah, he's doing great.
I'd love to have or eavesdrop on a Rob Deere, Mark Reynolds conversation. A couple of guys that can hit some bombs.
Yeah.
Both strike out a lot, but made their money driving in runs and hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Rob's a great guy. It's great to see him again. I hope his business flourishes. He is an excellent teacher of hitting.
That's the thing. I mean, he was a hitting coordinator with the Padres for about 4 or 5 years, and then he got the job with the Cubs. Dale Swaim got fired, and Rob was let go. But nobody. I mean, he is one of the better, hitting teachers that I've heard. I've heard a lot of guys talk about hitting, but he really has a way of relating it to kids. And he gave us a nice little gift as he left. Why don't you tell the folks what he offered and how we can sweeten the pot for dinner with Brian and Bill?
Well, mostly I'm concerned with what he left in the booth here. This giant piece of gum that he left.
Well, that was it. That's the gift.
And that's on our replay sheet, which we will now have to replace.
And he wrote on it.
And he wrote all over our replay review sheet. Yeah. So that's what he left us.
You too can have a piece of Rob Deere chewed bubble gum if you bid on the Bill and Brian dinner. Now we have.
That's disgusting.
Sophia Minard. That's not the worst thing I've seen from him. We got Matt LePay's going to join us for dinner. I know we can convince him to do that.
And Rob said he would offer
a spot for a kid in one of his camps locally.
What's the age limit there?
Well, he said it's like 7 to 9 and different age groups. So so if you get all that, then you get to play. One of the adults gets to play in the fantasy camp reunion game, and you can pick a kid
to go to the Rob Deere Clinic.
Right. He said he's going to be one in Franklin. The first one's in Green Bay.
All right. So that's a good deal.
So there you go. So we've been sweetening the pot as we've gone here in the 6th inning.
It's our BCF auction night on Fox Sports Wisconsin, raising money for the Brewers Community Foundation. And all going to great causes. 15 experiences out there. And we always beg for our experience to be the tops on the board. Sweeten that pot a little bit. That number 5 right there. Grab some grub with Brian and Bill. You can go online. And we've bumped up a little bit, up to 1825. But somehow the tour of the truck is higher than ours, and whatever she just wrote in there is higher than ours too, which is unacceptable.
Well, we just added, I don't know how much those camps go for, but it can't be cheap. You got some big leaguers that you're going to get some instruction from. Rob Deere for sure.
You think maybe that's going to put us over the edge there, the Rob Deere camp?
It's a nice value.
I like that.
I mean, it is.
2-2 to Reynolds. They'll check on Davis at first. By the way, I think I read the line wrong. So we're the number 6 is the behind the scenes with our crew.
Mm-hmm.
They're only at $675, so they're way behind us. That makes me feel
good.
better.
We bumped up pretty good. I think the fantasy camp experience on August 4th, that bumped it up. Now this clinic with Rob Deere has got to help us too.
I hope so. Oh, it's actually going up as we speak. 1875. That's a nice little $50 add-on right there. Keep them coming. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Reynolds. And a slow roller. Dozier will make the play for the out. Davis advances to second. 1 away now in the 6th.
Hey, mark your calendars for Vintage Brewer Bobblehead Day, Sunday, June 15th, when the Brewers take on the Cincinnati Reds at Miller Park. All fans in attendance will get a one-of-a-kind Vintage Brewer Bobblehead, courtesy of Time Warner Cable. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
I think we should give away one of those to sweeten the pot even further.
Be like sitting at the table when they show up.
Yeah, and just have them staring at you. Lyle Overbay at the plate, presented by Wendy's. A couple of walks tonight. That has been a theme for the Brewers offense. 5 walks in 5 1/3 innings. 6-2 Minnesota. They scored 3 runs with 1 swing of the bat by Willingham in the 3rd inning, and a 2-run homer from Dozier in the 5th. Thielbar is loosening, the lefty for the Twins. Caleb Thielbar. Brewers have been knocking at the door. 3 double plays turned by the Twins. Has eliminated some opportunities. RBIs from Braun and Maldonado tonight. One ball, 2 strikes on Overbay.
Yeah, Greer's always had a nice slider, one of his best pitches. 2-seam fastball, the slider. So it's got a curveball that'll flip up there from time to time.
Strike called, a fastball. Got the benefit of the call outside. Overbay takes it, and down he goes.
A little different strike zone from last night, isn't it? Looked like it might have been a little bit off the plate, but a little bit too close to take with 2 strikes.
Mark Wegner, the crew chief. And now 2 gone for Martin Maldonado. These 2 teams will both fly to Minneapolis tonight after the game. Going to be a late night. They'll turn it around and play game 1 of the Target Field version of this border battle tomorrow night. Wednesday and Thursday in Minneapolis. Then the Brewers go to Pittsburgh for 3, and then to New York for 3 to play the Mets. A pop up in the infield. And it'll be Dozier who calls it, and Guerrier works a scoreless 6th inning. To the 7th we go. It's 6-2 Minnesota. This interleague series with Minnesota. As promised earlier in the broadcast, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. And our photo tonight, it's a selfie in the booth. I don't. The Twitter handle's all wrong using Wiz fan photo, the hashtag. Snapped off a photo with Rob Deere in the booth while Rock was reading a promo. While you were working, we were busy hamming and egging.
Having a good time.
I actually have a Twitter account. I just don't tweet, so nobody cares.
Who sent it in?
I don't know. It's just kind of a random thing.
You guys are good buddies, are you?
I mean, how often do you get a Rob Deere sighting?
No.
Yeah, they got to get my picture with him. I was kind of hoping you'd be in there as well, but you were busy.
I must have been doing a promo or something.
I think that's when Rob put his gum down. Jason Kubel pinch hitting. And a high fly ball, shallow right center. And it's going to be Jeanette who has to make the catch. Hey, Scooter was waiting on someone to call him off, but he ends up making the play himself.
No, that's an outfielder's ball, one of them anyway, but Scooter stuck right with it and made a nice play. Jeanette and Segura, both of them can go pretty far out there into the outfield and make catches on pop-ups. And Scooter's still surprised that Gogo didn't grab that one.
Here's Danny Santana, who takes a strike from Tyler Thornburg. Thornburg was going to be pinch hit for had Maldonado reach base. Instead, he's back out there for a second inning of work. To a nothing the count. Santana. And another great play by Jeanette. Gets his man. Wow. Scooter Jeanette flashing the leather again. Boy, he's made a couple of those sweet pickups on the short hop.
Made one on the backhand yesterday, or a couple of days ago. This one on the forehand, and making it look easy.
Two up, two down for Thornburg. And here's Dozier. Hit a two-run bomb his last time up, and he is 3 for 3 tonight. 2 singles and the 2-run homer. 12 home runs now. 30 RBIs on the season for Dozier. This guy's having an all-star year for the Twins.
Batting average starting to climb a little bit. Back-to-back days, pretty good days at the plate. 2 hits yesterday.
And Dozier walks on 4 straight. So the first base runner allowed by Thornburg. Had retired 5 in a row in relief of Gallardo. And now Thornburg will have to deal with Joe Mauer. Tough night for Gallardo tonight. Giving up 6 earned runs in 5 innings. Mauer had one of the 8 hits allowed by Giovanni. He finished with a flourish, though. He struck out 3 in a row. It started with Mauer in the 5th. Twins have 6 runs on 8 hits. With the Willingham 3-run homer in the 3rd, and then Dozier hit the 2-run shot in the 5th. Those are the big swings for the Twins. Mauer in the left. Davis positioned perfectly to make the play. Side retired. Thornburg with 2 scoreless. Stretch time at Miller Park. brought to you by the all-new Chevy Silverado. Well, even with the Brewers down 4, still having some fun here at Miller Park. Crowd over 25,000. Our game summary is brought to you by Toyota. That was the 3-run homer by Willingham in the 3rd that gave him a 4-1 lead. Maldonado made it 4-2 with an RBI single in the bottom of the 4th inning. But the very next frame, Gallardo giving up a 2-run home run to Dozier. His 3rd hit of the night. He has not been retired tonight. And that's what it looks like as we head to the home 7th. 6-2. New pitcher. It will have a new hitter. As Jared Burton takes over on the mound for Minnesota. Brewers are going to send Logan Schaefer to the plate. Well, Dozier's had a big night tonight. 3 hits, a walk, a 2-run home run. His club leading 12th homer. So now the Twins getting into their late relief rock with Jared Burton. And with the pitcher spot coming up, it'll be Logan Schaefer.
Twins bullpen's been pretty good. They have their closer Glenn Perkins out in that pen. He's been pretty good. You can see that Burton has had a rough time of it. A 623 earned run average, giving up 4 home runs. So the Brewers might be able to get something going here in his 24th appearance this year.
Logan Schaefer will start it. Gene Segura to follow, and then Scooter Gennett.
And this is Burton's 3rd year with the Twins. Remember him with the Cincinnati Reds. A few years with the Reds, now the Twins.
And it hits the bowl. Jared Burton firing one to the screen.
What would you say?
Right on cue. Just a bit outside. Here's the 1-1. And that one's up and away again. It's 2-1. Feels like the Brewers, you know, they've had plenty of base runners. They've had a base runner in every inning tonight, Milwaukee. Been 5 walks in the game to go along with 6 hits.
Yeah, double plays have been the killer. They grounded into 3 tonight.
And 6 in the series thus far. Three balls and a strike. Schaefer trying to get on. Brewers need base runners. Down 4. And that one's down and in. Ball 4. It's another leadoff walk. Back-to-back innings. The Brewers have put their leadoff batter aboard with a walk. And now back to the top of the order in Segura.
Well, you figure at some point these walks are going to come back and haunt the Twins. That's 6 now walks given up by Twins pitching tonight. And still waiting for one of them to come around to score.
Segura with 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. And a spinner in there for a strike. And it goes to 0-2. Well, Crew where they want to be in the batting order. Got Gennett to follow, then Braun. Scored a single run in the first, got a single tally in the fourth. Hadn't been able to string together that big inning yet. Team that's been on a tear offensively as Segura waves and misses. Down he goes on 3 pitches.
Yeah, Burton's always had that good slider. Sinker, slider, he throws pretty well. And there it is right there off the outside corner, and Segura just waves at it. Hey, Miller Park, Friday the 13th is your lucky day. All fans in attendance to see the Brewers take on the Cincinnati Reds Friday, June 13th. We'll get a Brewers retro t-shirt courtesy of Husco International. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com today.
Well, Jeanette, a foul ball. Ball and a strike on Scooter. Jared Burton, third pitcher used. Deduno went 5 innings. The starter gave up 2 earned runs. Guerrier worked a scoreless 6th inning, and now it's Burton. And that is a nasty breaking ball. A ball and 2 strikes. Suddenly his slider has kind of gotten him back in his mechanics after he was missing badly with a fastball to the first batter of the inning.
Yeah, he's got a good one. Real good slider.
Jeanette gets sawed off. Fly ball out to Willingham in left. And there is the second out. So Schaefer still at first. And here comes Ryan Braun with 2 away. Braun with a base hit his last time up. He ripped one to center field. Does have an RBI tonight. Had an RBI on a fielder's choice in the first. In there for a strike. Has found the range as Burton. Braun back in the 3 spot in the order tonight. Probably be short-lived. Suppose you'll see him hitting second tomorrow. Lucroy got the day off today. His first day off since May 11th. It's been a while. Lucroy played in 20 consecutive games. Not really news for regular position players, but for a catcher that is news.
That's a long stretch. It sure is. And Luke didn't ask for the day off. It was required of him.
Got 3 hits last night. He's certainly available to pinch hit. Lucroy hasn't caught all of those games. He caught 14 or made 14 starts behind the plate, 5 starts at first, and he had 1 day as a DH. But with Lucroy out of the lineup, Braun goes back to the 3 spot. Aramis Ramirez coming back from the DL tomorrow. We'll see what the lineup looks like when we get to Minnesota. 3-2 to Braun now. Burton's got good stuff, but he's been prone to the walk. He's averaging about a little over 4 walks per 9 innings. Has 10 walks this year to go along with 15 strikeouts. Full count, 2 outs. Schaefer takes off. Braun lines one foul. Well, the Brewers just in need of a big hit to get this crowd back in it. Twins by 4. Still a lot of baseball to be played. There goes Schaefer, and Braun strikes out to end the inning. Burton walks the first batter he faces, retires the next 3, and it's still 6-2. The Twins. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Marco Estrada will get the ball tomorrow at Target Field in Minneapolis. Good place for him to pitch as a fly ball pitcher. Ricky Nolasco will be his mound opponent. And then Willie Peralta will pitch Thursday against Kevin Correa. 6:30 airtime for both games in Minneapolis, with Brewers Live getting us started. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. We're starting a road trip. An 8-game road trip coming up tomorrow. There's Brandon Kensler. Tyler Thornburg goes 2 scoreless, and now Kensler will have the 8th. He's trying to get him right. Kensler scuffled a little bit lately. Says he's lost the feel a little bit of his sinker. There's a little bit of a delay here as they're walking an injured fan off the field and bringing the cart out. So Kensler just trying to stay loose. You never want to see a fan have to leave the surface with an injury. Not sure exactly what happened, but don't know the condition of the fan at this point. But that's why we have a delay here in the 8th inning, as they tend to the fan in the outfield. Well, they play in the top of the 8th inning, and transporting the fan off the playing surface. Yeah, that's a little disturbing to see that fan leaving on a stretcher.
I didn't see what happened. All of a sudden you saw them carrying him off, and I guess we'll get some information in a timely fashion, I would assume.
Well, we're ready to go here as Kinsler was given a few extra warm-up tosses. And he'll face Josh Willingham to start it. (6-2) Minnesota. And Willingham swinging away at the first pitch. Well, Ron Renicky has talked about Brandon Kinsler and trying to give him some innings here or there. He's still pitching in high leverage situations. He certainly was last night. Came in the 8th inning. But admitting that he's not quite where he wants to be, and Renicky noticing that he just doesn't. He has life on his fastball, Rock, but he doesn't have the same kind of sink. So everything's been up in the zone, and he's been giving up some hard hit balls lately.
Yes, he has. And when he's right, he's getting on top with that pitch and getting some good downward movement. That pitch was up there. And Willingham got under it.
So one gone as Kinsler gets the fly ball from Willingham.
But another terrific outing for Tyler Thornburg. Well, he has been something else. He allowed one base runner, a walk. And the Brewers are hoping that Kinsler can get back to the form that he showed last year. Virtually unhittable all year.
Well, for more on Kinsler, we check in with Sophia.
Brian, after last night's outing, giving up 1 run on 3 hits in just 2/3 of an inning, Kinsler went back to the basics today and actually did some towel drills in the bullpen with pitching coach Rick Kranitz. Said he thought it would help him work on his timing, his alignment, and finishing his pitches. Brock, like you were saying, just repeating that delivery straight through. Felt like he's still coming a little too far across the body. So he thought it was a productive session today in the bullpen.
And when you come across your body, your arm drops a little bit, and that's why he doesn't get that good movement. When Kinsler is at his best, he's got that arm up, he's got the fingers on top of the baseball. That's when he gets that good downward tilt on his fastball. And when you get on the side of it a little bit, you might get the movement, but you don't get the sink, and everything stays up in the zone.
So here's Trevor Plouffe with 2 away. Plouffe singled and scored in the 2nd inning. He's 1 out of 3 tonight. Started a couple of double plays in this game tonight after a rough game defensively yesterday. That ball is into right field for Braun, and that's a good inning for Brandon Kinsler, the kind he needed. To the bottom of the 8th, Brewers have 6 outs to work with. They're down 4.
8th inning, trailing 6-2. They have not been able to take advantage of 6 free passes today. None of the walks have scored for the Brew Crew, so they got to rely on the defense to stay in it. Scooter Gennett's really been strong at second base all season long and showing it again tonight.
Yeah, you know, one thing this team had to improve on this year was their defense after last season, and that's one thing that's happened. That Scooter Gennett and Ricky Weeks at second base have really done a nice job. Scooter Gennett coming up tonight with some nice plays.
All right, we're going to take a look at that defense and plenty more here from the manager, Ron Renicky, and hopefully talk about a Brewer rally. We shall see. Getting late. Brewers Live on the way after the ball game, Brian.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. Don't forget we have our BCF auction continuing through midnight tonight. Casey Fiend is on the pitch for Minnesota, and he'll face Gomez to start it. Gomez, Davis, and Mark Reynolds, 6-2 Twins. As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning.
And Casey Fiend first appeared in the big leagues with the Tigers, appeared in 2 games in 2010. Has been up and down with the Twins last few years. And pretty good numbers coming into tonight's game. 3-2 record, a 196 earned run average. And you figure it's going to be Fiend here in the 8th, and who knows, it might be Glenn Perkins or closer. Who knows?
Right by Gomez, and it's 0-2. Brewers have had some base runners on. The last 3 innings they've had 4 base runners and have not been able to score. Oh, 2 to Gomez. He's looking for his first hit of the night. He lined out in the 4th inning and then bounced into a 5-4-3 double play in the 5th. Hit the ball sharply. That's the only way you turn a double play on Gomez. Twins did a nice job to go around the horn, and that ended the threat. Brewers had 2 on, 1 out. Gomez at the plate came up empty. It's kind of been the way the night's gone for Milwaukee so far. And Gomez, a base hit, and that one's going to go to the wall. Extra bases for Carlos Gomez. It's a leadoff double. Third consecutive inning with their leadoff batter aboard.
They got to pitch up. He got it in, and Carlos able to pull the hands in and knock it hard down the line and left. Another pitch that stayed up in the strike zone. Supposed to be a sinker. Stayed up and he ripped it. Good extension for Gomez out in front.
A nice looking swing there. So Gomez is aboard. Here's Chris Davis now. Got some boppers coming up, and Davis and Reynolds. Davis has a hit tonight. He's been on twice. Singled and scored in the 4th. Reached on a walk his last time up. Casey Fiend working the 8th for Minnesota. Been stellar this year. A 1.96 ERA coming in. Good hack there by Davis. Tough to get a fastball by Davis even when he's down in the count. He's been a streaky hitter this year. Davis hoping to get a little more consistent at the plate, but he has been productive. Can't argue with that. His first full season in the major leagues. Proved he could hit last year. Once he returned right around the All-Star break, he was in the big leagues for good after that. From mid-July to the end of the year, Davis hit 11 home runs last season.
And a lot of those come to center field and right, which is what he's been doing lately. Even when he covers the outside part of the plate, still quick enough to cover inside, as long as it's a strike.
Fiend doesn't give up many homers, has not allowed one this season. Davis fouls it back. Another fastball from Fiend. A strike thrower out of that Twins bullpen. Davis hanging tough. Got the slider this time. One of the key stats for a reliever, especially a late reliever, ERA is important, but only if that guy starts innings. Fiend starts a lot of innings, so the ERA has some weight, but opponent's batting average is a big stat as well. And opponent's only hitting a little over 180 this year against Fiend.
Opponent batting average, first batter efficiency, and inherited runners. Big statistics for a guy coming out of the bullpen.
He's holding right-handed batters to a 132 average this year. Davis hoping for a mistake. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's been hanging tough. And he fouls another one off. What an at-bat going here by Chris Davis. Those are the splits. Got a right-hander coming up next in Mark Reynolds. Remember, the Brewers still have Lucroy available tonight. As you start to drift down to the bottom of the order, could be a big bat with men on base. The 9th pitch of the at-bat, Davis able to check his swing.
And laying off that slider, waiting back. A couple of weeks ago, he might have chased that pitch. Let the ball travel, get a good look at it, and just able to hold up.
That was close. Full count. He's seen 9 pitches. He's got Gomez at second. He's seen what Fiend has to offer. Pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. There's a fastball foul back again. What a battle. I'll see what he goes with here. Another payoff pitch, the 11th pitch, and Davis into center field. Santana is there. Gomez will advance. And Casey Fiend wins the battle with Chris Davis. Good effort by Davis.
You know, pitch number 11. Had a pretty good swing at it. Second time that Davis has had a good swing at a pitch. Deep fly ball is first time up to left. This is a high slider that he just got underneath and down in the trademark just enough to keep it in the ballpark. With a good at bat by Davis.
Here's Mark Reynolds now. You take whatever you can get. Imperative the Brewers get this run home. Runner third, 1 out. And Reynolds pops this one up. Foul territory. And now we're able to make the catch. That one hurts a little. On the first pitch, a foul pop. And Reynolds is out. So 2 outs now. And here's Lyle Overbay.
Yeah, Fiend's best pitch tonight is that slider. We got Reynolds on a pop out on a first pitch breaking pitch off the outside corner. So the slider's been a better pitch for him than the fastball.
The Brewers have left 8 on tonight. Got a man at third with 2 away. And Overbay takes a strike. Down at the bottom of the order here with Overbay. If he gets on, Maldonado. And if he can get it to the 9th spot in the order, you might see Lucroy. Overbay, right center field. Santana on the run. Can't get there. Base hit. 2-out RBI single for Overbay, and the Brewers are within 3.
Oh, not a very good route that time. Boy, I thought that ball was going to be caught. He didn't even come close. He went across, but didn't come in. That's kind of a surprise, and I think that Casey Fiend somewhat surprised. There's the fastball. Overbay down on the end, and I think the big swing and down on the end fooled Santana out in center. Check him out. He goes across but doesn't come in. Certainly had time to get there, and that'll be a base hit and an RBI on a fly ball that should have been caught.
Now remember, Santana is a converted shortstop. He's playing the outfield this year for the first time in his career. Here's Maldonado. Big swing and a miss. Got a slider on the first offering. Well, there's Lucroy. Pitcher spot due up next. You'd love to get him up in this inning. If so, he'd represent the tying run. Fastball strike outside corner, well placed. And Maldonado quickly in a hole, 0-2.
Pinto setting up on that outside corner and pretty close.
And now Maldonado on his heels. Down 0-2. And he pops him up. Joe Mauer will call it and will make the catch in fair territory to end the inning. Brewers do scratch a run off Casey Fiend. It's 6-3 Minnesota. Johnson is presented by Marshfield Clinic. Well, getting late here at Miller Park, and the Brewers find themselves trailing 6-3 now. Brewers getting a run in the 8th. And a 3-run ball game as we go to the 9th, and it'll be Francisco Rodriguez, the Brewers closer, on to pitch the 9th in need of some work.
Yeah, it's been a while for him, and the last time he pitched was on Tuesday against the Orioles. He picked up his 2nd win of the season, and he pitched an inning, walked a batter. It was an intentional walk, and also struck out a batter. 31 punch-outs for K-Rod in 27 innings this year. And he's only blown saves on a couple of occasions. He picked up a win on one of those blown saves.
So K-Rod will try to keep the Twins at 6. He will have the bottom of the order coming up. Josmiel Pinto will lead off, and then Escobar, and then we'll have a pinch hitter after that. Each club with 8 hits. Brewers won last night, snapping a 5-game Minnesota winning streak over Milwaukee. Another night when the Cardinals lose. They are in a bit of a tailspin right now. The Royals beat the Cardinals 8-7. St. Louis got a grand slam tonight from Colton Wong. And yet the Royals were able to muscle their way back behind hitting coach Dale Swain.
Yeah, the Cardinals now 1 game over 500. 30-29.
St. Louis finished their homestand 2-7, I believe. Got shut out twice. They had a scoreless streak as an offense, the Cardinals did, that I think pushed 22 innings, maybe 21 innings before that Wong homer. You just don't see that very often with the St. Louis Cardinals. So a good opportunity for the Brewers to add a game if they can come back tonight. Won't lose any ground with a loss. Pinto in the air to left for Davis. And there is the first out. K-Rod had him out in front of it. Eduardo Escobar 0 for 3 tonight. Oh, and 2 on Escobar. And a sharply hit ball to Jeanette. He's got another one. He keeps flagging him down, does Scooter Jeanette. 2 up and 2 down.
Almost waited a little bit too long for the throw. Escobar can get down that line. Well, he has been showing some good soft hands, has Scooter Jeanette. Made a play on the forehand early in the game, and this one right in front of him, and just able to get Escobar at first base.
So here's Chris Parmelee pinch hitting. Looking ahead to the Brewers' 9th inning. Have a pinch hitter in the pitcher spot, and then to the top of the order. So could see Lucroy. You could see Ricky Weeks. Might want to save Lucroy for a spot with men on base, but then you get to the top of the order and you're not going to pinch hit for any of those guys.
Right, so might as well use him, right? Unless Ron Renege's thinking give him a full day off.
That could be the case. (6-3) Twins. Brewers have had a ton of base runners tonight. They have 8 hits. Been 6 walks in the game. See if they can put it all together in the 9th. K-Rod ready to deal a 1-1, and Parmalee a big swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Closers don't like to go too many days without throwing, especially Francisco Rodriguez, who is a command pitcher, uses touch and feel, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Side retired. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Last call for the Brew Crew. They're down 3.
And after a brief delay in the 8th inning when a fan was attended to on the field, the Brewers have announced that an unidentified male fan had fallen into the Brewers bullpen. He received medical attention there and was taken to Frederick Hospital, but the good news is that he was alert and conscious. So if we get any more information, you can check our FoxSportsWisconsin.com website, but fortunate news for the fan there.
All right, Sophia, thanks for that update. Appreciate that. And that was tough to see the fan get carted off, causing that delay prior to the beginning of the 8th. So we hope for the best for that gentleman. Well, we go to the bottom of the 9th here. The Brewers have some work to do, and they're going to have to do it against the Twins closer, Glenn Perkins, who has 2 blown saves this year, but he has 14 on the board already. He's been tough.
Yes, he has. An earned run average under 3. He's only allowed the 1 home run. Look at the walks to strikeouts for Perkins. 3 walks, 33 strikeouts, and just a little over 24 innings of work. That's pretty good numbers.
So Ricky Weeks will lead off. And the hard-throwing Perkins misses inside. Gardenhire has upgraded his defense in center. Aaron Hicks, who had been his regular center fielder, is in there now. Hicks stopped switch hitting, so Twins are a little hesitant to put him in the lineup as an exclusive right-handed batter. Well, the Brewers are where they want to be in the order. If Weeks can get on, you'd have the top of the order coming up. 6-3 Twins. Brewers won last night. Cardinals have lost tonight to Kansas City as Weeks Takes a ball, and it's 3-0. Good numbers by Ricky Weeks coming off the bench this year. He's hitting .304. A couple of RBIs as a pinch hitter. And that's ball 4, missing badly. And the 4th consecutive inning with a leadoff batter on base.
And a rare walk by Glenn Perkins. Only the 4th walk issued by Perkins all season.
Check the Subway in-game box score. Been some activity for the Brewers tonight. They have 8 hits. Segura has 2 of those 8. So there's been traffic. And now we'll see if the Brewers can cash it in their final frame in regulation here. Here's Segura. And there is ball 5 from Glenn Perkins. Missed again. 2-0 to Segura. If you're wondering where Lucroy might fit in this picture, he's due up next. He'll pinch hit for Scooter Gennett.
And there's a left-hander on the mound. You're going to pinch hit for Scooter. Not a bad guy to throw in the ball game at the last minute. Jonathan Lucroy.
6 straight balls by Glenn Perkins.
And nothing really close. I mean, he's missing badly. A couple more pitches out of the zone, you bring the tying run to the plate.
And that one's right down the heart. Segura taken all the way. Another base runner will bring the tying run up. Lucroy's going to hit regardless, it looks like. And there's ball 3. Perkins blew a save against the Brewers last year. That was here at Miller Park. Gave up a run in an inning of work. And there's ball 4. How about that? Back-to-back walks. And the tying run will come to the plate, and it'll be Jonathan Lucroy off the bench. Bullpen's quiet. This is just a meeting here as Rick Anderson is on his way to the mound.
That's 8 walks issued by the Twins tonight. I mean, you're not going to win many games walking 8 batters. Issue for the Brewers, though, tonight, none of the 8 so far have scored, and that is unusual.
Well, Jonathan Lucroy will get his chance. A night off from the starting lineup after a very good night last night. Lucroy had 3 hits, including a home run. Lucroy, an 8th inning solo shot off Anthony Swarzak.
Got that average of 325 and has done very well against lefties. Hitting almost 350 against left-handed pitching this year.
So Lucroy will get a swing. He's 4th in the league in batting to start play today. He has the highest batting average among all major league catchers. 325 hitter, 3 homers, 24 driven in. Brewers down 3. And that one's in there for a strike. That is a generous call from a guy who has not been able to find the strike zone. Let's see where Fox Tracks had it.
Pretty close.
Ten pitches for Perkins, only 2 strikes so far. And that one's in there. 0-2 the count on Lucroy.
That dropped the breaking ball on him. Pretty good numbers from both sides. Left-handers and right-handers.
Lucroy, little jam shot. And the play is at first base. Segura doing all he could to disrupt it. Lucroy's out. 2 runners advance. And now the big boys coming up for the Brewers. Braun and then Gomez potentially. Lucroy, the pinch hit appearance, is out 4-3. And here comes Braun as the tying run. Perkins had a great year last year. He had 36 saves. 2 of them against Milwaukee. Braun hasn't seen a whole lot of Perkins. It's a small sample size, but he does have a home run against Glenn Perkins.
That'll look good right now, partner.
Braun had a good cut. 94-mile-an-hour fastball upstairs.
Well, the strike that was called on Lucroy to start the at-bat, that was a little bit marginal, seemed to have settled Perkins down. Then he started to throw his breaking pitch. Threw 2 to Lucroy, both for strikes, and seems to be back on track.
One ball, 1 strike. And Braun in the air to right field. And that'll be caught at the wall by Arcia. Run will score. Ricky Weeks is in. Braun hit it like a bullet. But it's an out. It's a sacrifice fly for Braun, his 2nd RBI of the night. And the Brewers are down to their last out. Still bringing the tying run to the plate, however.
Yeah, just hit it too much on the line. It was a 3-pitch at bat for Brawny. Got ahead in the count 1-0. And then the fastball up, fouled straight back, and then Perkins came on the outer half of the plate. Braun with a nice short stroke, just hit too much on the line. You lift that one a little bit, we've got a tie game.
So Perkins with 2 outs now, facing Carlos Gomez. And strike 1 with a fastball. Gomez attacking some flying objects there. Gomez pulls it foul. Quickly 0-2. Back-to-back walks to start the inning. But then Perkins gets Lucroy and Braun. And now Gomez, the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and the ball game is over. The Twins win 6-4. And even this series at 1 game apiece. Still 2 to play at Target Field tomorrow in Minneapolis. Deduno beats Giovanni Gallardo tonight. Then Perkins with save number 15. And we'll turn this series to Minneapolis. Both teams jumping on the plane in just a little while. We'll check in with Craig Kashaw now. It's time for Brewers Live. What do you have coming up for us, Craig?
Now the Brewers obviously come close but can't take advantage of those walks. We'll hear what the skipper has to say about that. We'll hear from Ron Renneke, get inside the clubhouse, as well as the teams now head to Minnesota.